奇跡のような出会いが僕らを導いたからそれぞれの定めを背にいざ行こう明日へ偽りだらけの世界君と僕巡り会えたのは真実一つずつ知るたびに芽生え出す確かな想い気づいたから覚悟決めていたはずだったのにね貫き通す叶わぬ恋でも僕らは戦い続けてゆく最後まで固く強くつないだ手と手が離れないように世界の行方より唯一無二の恋心譲れないよそれこそ乙女の生きる道
Hello, and welcome back to Otome, and let's get started with today's read-through. Oh, shit. Okay, we're starting good today. Which means I'm gonna start. We'll start out with some stuff I have to cut out. Alright. I was holding him down on the ground, but I couldn't bring myself to do anything else. I'm not thinking straight. I know I should, but my body won't listen. In that situation, only his body heat and heartbeat were clearly transmitted through my palm. It overlapped with my heart pounding like a rapid drumbeat. And she just went all in. She's so horny, man. Through my teary eyes, I could see him standing there. He has a penis. Just thinking about it made a tingling sensation run through my whole body. At the same time, my death stare with an eerily brutality. Miku wants to touch her penis. I'm not reading that. Miku wants to touch his penis. I act honestly on that desire. These panties are getting in the way. I held him down and restrained him while freeing both of his hands. To do that, I hoisted his lower body and pressed his upper body down onto the ground. It was like we ended up in a resting fall position.
Miku-senpai.
The sound of Katakuri Yui's pained voice reaches my ears. Still, I couldn't stop myself. Damn, she really... I roughly grabbed Katakuri Yui's panties and pulled them up. I can see it now. The tears I shed during it were just a tiny remnant of a reason's plea. I ignored it. It was my own will that turned its back on reason. The penis, having withdrawn from Miku's womb, lost its strength and collapsed. The mixture of semen and vaginal fluids that flowed back from Miku's vagina dripped down with a squelching sound. I'm sure I'll regret this. Listening to the heavy sound of water, I thought something like that. But I don't have the right to say I regret anything now. It's not fair that I'm the only one suffering, or that my efforts aren't recognized. I was fighting for everyone's happiness, so it stung when they told me I could just do as I please. Because it was all my true feelings.
私は何を
I quickly snapped back to reality by categorically fumbling with his clothes in front of me. What awaited me in that reality was an overwhelming self-loathing. I foolishly thought up emotions as just one type of thinking process, something to be considered in situational judgment. Even after being swept away and toyed with so much, I let my guard down with such naive understanding. And swept away by passion, I finally crossed that line.
ミック先輩
I'll apologize by dying. That's all I can do now. I reached for the gun I was hiding, stretched out to grab my discarded clothes. Oh, yeah. I had to cut some things because she was showing her knockers. Ah, fuck. Yeah, okay. I don't know how. Alright, you know what? Well, there's this line. Failing to carry out mother's orders is sound of profound regret, but with someone as incompetent as me, further operations are impossible. Let's just...
先輩ミック先輩
I snapped back to my senses at Katakiri Yui's voice shaking me.
先輩どうしたんですか顔色が
I can't get my voice out like I want to. My vision blurred and I couldn't breathe.
どうしたんですか先輩大丈夫ですか
Oh man, I'm gonna have a lot of cuts in this damn. She mostly stayed naked during most of the dialogue. I had to cut those. Alright, I had to cut those out. But she anyway, Miku was very regretful about what she did, to the point that she almost decided to get her gun to try to shoot herself. But you know, she was snapped back to sense by Yui. Anyway, I came to lying in bed.
ここ
I tried to move my body, but there's a terrifying delay in accessing the motor functions.
体が動かない
The range of motion was poorly adjusted, and despite trying to prop myself with my arms, my fingers only twitched slightly.
あうんあいうえお
The lullaby. Anyway, it seems I can speak after all. The neck moves too. It can blink. Apparently, there are no major issues with movement above the waist.
エラーチェックしてみましょう
Oh, I'm actually surprised even Mother even made her so close to being like an actual human being that her first time of having sex was just like also affected her in that to the same extent. I select the movable system error check from the system menu.
しばらく待ちますか
What on earth happened? You'd think I lost control of my body with that kind of intense damage, but judging from the startup logs, the device checks are passing without any issues. There are minor cuts and bleeding, but not the kind of damage caused by combat. It's safe to rule out the loss of control due to battle-related injuries. That means there's a high possibility that some kind of error has caused a logical malfunction.
おやもう終わりましたか
Looking at the error message, it seems a logical flaw occurred, and access to the kinetic system was lost. I used my arms to support myself and raise my upper body just like before.
よし。問題ないようですね。
Looks like the error's been fixed. I got out of bed and stood up. I tried to stand up, but my knees gave out, and I collapsed right there.
これはどうしたことでしょう。
There shouldn't be any issues with the leg movement, but for some reason I fell off balance and can't stand up. Where does this feeling of unease come from? Oh yeah, I was talking to Katagiri Yui yesterday.
あ、ミク先輩、大丈夫ですか？
The door opened and Katagiri Yui came in. It was so sudden that I ended up letting out a weird scream in surprise.
どうしたんですか？立てますか？あ、いえ、これはその。
Katagiri Yui scooped me up as I sat collapsed on the floor. That expression is purely worried about me. It seems you don't feel any revulsion or fear towards me, even after what I did. Could it be that yesterday's memory was just some kind of mistake?
さあ、無理せず捕まってください。あ、はい。すみません。
I grabbed Katagiri Yui's arm and put my weight on my legs. On his legs? Or on my legs? Okay. But even as I tried to stand up, my legs just trembled and wouldn't hold me.
ダメみたいです。どうしちゃったんですか？一体。わかりません。下腹部の奥に違和感があって力が入らなくて。下腹部。
Of course, we know. Katagiri Yui's face flushed at that. That face overlapped with the memories of last night, and a stabbing pain ran through my chest.
申し訳ありません。気持ち悪いでしょうから話してくれて大丈夫です。歩けないだけなので、とりあえず会って戻ります。
Saying that and getting down on all fours, I ran towards the bed as if escaping. I was grabbed by the shoulder with a surprisingly strong force. And the next moment, I was in his arms.
よいしょっと。
Damn, our guy.
片桐学生、何を。歩けない仲間に手を貸せないようでは兵隊なんて務まりませんからね。
The words returned.
それはそうですが。
I see this position a lot in content. You know, that Princess Carrie thing.
ああ、危ないから暴れないでください。ダメです。私なんて抱えても気持ち悪いはずで。気持ち悪くなんかありません。
The unexpected reaction stopped my thoughts for a moment, and I couldn't find any words. This is something Katagiri Yaiga used to do. I can't believe Katagiri Yui has even mastered it too.
あ、やっぱりこうすると二の句が告げなくなっちゃうんですね。いいこと覚えた。なんて。ほら、いいから黙って運ばれてください。
Before I could even react, Katagiri Yui scooped me up and carried me to the bed, gently laying me down on it. Since he couldn't lift me up to my usual spot, since I couldn't lift myself up to my usual spot, it was Katagiri Yui's bed. Oh, okay. So he couldn't lift her up to my usual spot at the top. It was Katagiri's bed, Yui's bed that I used. This is where I first. This is where I. What? Come to think of it, this is where I was first put to sleep. It just occurred to me now, where I used to sleep. Okay.
はい、これでよし。今日はどのみちお休みですから、ゆっくり寝ていても大丈夫ですよ。
Wait, I'll be right back. I'm so hungry. I want to make some quick breakfast. I'll be right. Oh, no, at this point, it's basically lunch or brunch. It's actually lunch. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's go.
実はもう起床時間過ぎてるんですよね。先輩よく寝てましたから起こさなかったんですけど、点呼の時に体調不良の連絡はしてあります。
そうなのですか。ありがとうございます。
It wasn't until I was told that I checked the time and realized I definitely overslept. To be unconscious without even noticing the wake-up horn. Is the damage more serious than I realized?
本当に大丈夫ですか？眠っている間、時々うなされていたみたいですし。
問題ありません。システムエラーが出ていましたが、修復プログラムは正常に作動しましたので、おそらく短時間の休息で体も馴染むはずです。
そうですか。よかった。私は机で勉強してますから、何かあったら遠慮なく言ってくださいね。
The moment I thought he was about to leave, I found myself unconsciously grabbing his hand.
どうしました？
これは。
Man, she's so down bad, man. I quickly pulled my hands away and hid them under the covers. That way, they shouldn't move on their own. Katagiri Yui suddenly burst out laughing. I was wondering if I'd done something weird.
いえ、なんだかミク先輩がもじもじしてるので、可愛いなって思いまして。
She said something outrageous.
すみません、つい年上の女性に対して可愛いは失礼でしたよね。
いえ、別にそんなこともありませんが。
そうですか。それならよかったです。
The conversation trails off. Since I called you over, I guess it's only fair that I bring up the topic myself.
そういえば、姫の学生は。
But I wasn't quite ready to ask about what happened last night.
あかりは八重香と凛先輩と一緒に買い物に行きました。ミク先輩のことを心配していましたよ。
そうだったのですか。ゆいさんは一緒に行かなくてよかったのですか。
ええ、ミク先輩のことも放っておけませんでしたし。
私のためだったのですか。貴重な休日なのにすみません。
いえいえ、いきなり調子が悪くなっちゃったの、きっと昨日のことの影響だと思いますから。
Katagiri Yui climbed up, looking like she couldn't help but what came out.
それはすみません。
私もすみません。
Conversation trails off again. But the fact that he hesitated, it seems what happened last night really did happen after all. I need to apologize to him about that. Even if I apologize, it wouldn't be forgivable. But more than anything else, showing sincerity to him would mean offering a heartfelt apology first and foremost. I steeled myself and sat upright on the bed, placing both hands down and bowing deeply.
本当に申し訳ありませんでした。
ミク先輩？
私はあなたに対してとんでもないことをしてしまいました。本当にお詫びのしようもありません。
そんな先輩、顔を上げてくださ
い。いいえ、私は性犯罪者です。本当なら自首すべきところ、あなたの素性も発覚してしまう以上、自らの意思で自首を選ぶことはできません。ですので、全てあなたの言う通りにいたします。死ねと言うなら死にます。金銭的な賠償もいいねでお支払いいたします。殺したいほど憎いなら、あなたのお望みの方法で。
ちょっと待ってください。
Katagiri Yui grabs my shoulder and forcibly pulls me off the ground from where I was prostrating myself.
それを言うなら、僕も謝らなくてはいけません。
あなたが一体何を謝る必要があるんですか？
あります。だってミク先輩は初めてだったみたいで。
This is my first time. You mean whether I was a virgin or not? Of course, I had no experience with sex, but what's so wrong with that?
そんなことは別にどうでもいいことで。
どうでもいいことなんかじゃありません。女性にとって男性に処女を捧げるってことは非常に屈辱的なことだと聞きました。それが原因になって自ら命を絶つ人もいると。だから昨日の夜、気を失ってしまったミク先輩が心配で。
屈辱的。
In this day and age, women without a hymen are definitely rare, unless they lost it themselves or through sexual activity with other women. And that small number is limited to mothers who want to get pregnant at the dating agency or women who have been assaulted by men. Because only so-called honorable men or crime victims exist. Women who lose their virginity to a man are sometimes discriminated against by certain purity advocates.
私がしっかり拒めばよかったのに、流されてしまってすみませんでした。私の方こそ処分の内容はミク先輩の気持ちにお任せします。
Saying that, he bowed deeply.
私のことなど気にしなくて構いません。むしろあなたに捧げることができて幸福に感じているくらいです。
なぜですか？
なぜって、恋をした相手に自分の処女を捧げられたら、それは幸せなことではないですか？
There was a time those values existed. I remember reading about that history in an old romance novel I borrowed from Rin.
そういうものなんですか？
ええ、そういうものです。少なくとも私にとっては。
そうですか。
あなたはどうなのですか？
どうとは？
私が処女であったように、あなたは童貞だったのではありませんか？
それは初めてです。はい。
でしたら、やはり私も謝らなくてはならないではありませんか？あなたが私の処女についておもんぱかるなら、 私があなたの童貞についておもんぱからない理由はありません。
いえ、でもそれは価値が違うと言いますか、金と土の交換のようなもので。
そうなのですか。
それはそうでしょう。男は入れたか入れてないかくらいの経験の差しかありませんけど、女性の場合はやっぱり膜というか、そういうのが切れちゃったりして戻れなかったりするわけで。
いえ、処女膜は再生することもできますよ。簡単な手術によって処女膜を再生することは可能です。永遠に戻らないわけではありません。
Migu, stop being a smartass.
ああ、そうなんですね。いや、でもやっぱりお金や時間をかけないと戻せないものなら、男とは価値が違うんじゃないかなと。
そういった観点では確かにそうかもしれません。
ですよね。ですからミク先輩が謝るようなことは全くないんです。
しかし昨夜の行為では私に不同意性交罪が適用されます。刑法に抵触する明確な犯罪者です。
いえ、私はしました。
I mean, technically he did give his consent.
同意しました。ミク先輩との性行為に私同意しました。
I mean, yeah, he technically did. He technically did. Like, you know, it wasn't like he said no or some shit like that, and Migu continued.
わかりました。
There you go. That's consent.
それでミク先輩の気が済むなら自由にしてください。
Come to think of it, he did show a willingness that was close to agreement. If there's consent, then it doesn't constitute rape. If it were that simple, forcing consent would make this crime impossible to establish. Of course, it can't be that easy. The relationship between the parties involved and the circumstances of the situation are heavily considered, and if consent is deemed to have been coerced, a non-consensual intercourse is established.
総合的に判断すると、私が迫っていたから断りづらい状況だっただけで、あなたの本心は。
そんな風に勝手に判断しないでください。本心ですから。僕はミク先輩のことを
Hesitating like that, it seems you're being considerate of me and saying you agree. I'm the one who should take responsibility. Katagiri Yui is a victim. That won't change.
いいのです、片桐学生。私に忖度をする必要はありません。私はあなたの意思に従います。お好きなように処分を。
違うんです。聞いてください。
Looking around nervously, fidgeting and shifting restlessly. Despite Katagiri Yui's hesitant actions, I just waited for him to speak. I can tell he's struggling to speak his mind, just by the atmosphere. I should accept that firmly. No. No matter how cursed the words are, no matter how harsh the insults, I had to accept them. So I decided not to stop him, or encourage him either, leaving everything up to his resolve. Eventually, he seemed to steel himself, straightening up and meeting my gaze head on. Her eyes seemed to hold an even stronger light of determination before.
森谷ミク先輩。
Oh, it's the speed jam. Let's go.
はい。
I sense his determination in calling me by my first name. Responding to that tension, I straightened up on the bed, too.
僕といや僕がじゃなくて僕は僕はミク先輩が好きです。
Hell yeah, here we go. What did he just say? He likes me? Him? Me?
僕とお付き合いをしていただけませんでしょうか。ダメですか？
My mind had completely frozen up. Right in front of me was Katagiri Yui's face, looking like he might cry at any moment, but just now he had such a determined expression. I reached out to Katagiri Yui in silence.
先輩？
As I prompted, Katagiri Yui took my outstretched hand hesitantly. I pulled her hand back hard. I caught Katagiri Yui as he stumbled from the surprise attack.
先輩？
I buried his face in my chest and hugged him tightly. He writhed and struggled in obvious pain, but I didn't sense any clear intention to resist. As I slowly stroked his back and head, I responded to his confession.
私もあなたを好きでいます。
Hell yeah.
お付き合いの件喜んでお受けします。
He nodded in agreement. He gently returned my embrace within his heart. Nice, finally. Oh, finally, we're episode 4, Automata in Love. All right. Koibito. Anyway, I need to take a break. I'll be right back. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back like hours later, so I'm actually just stopping the recording, and I gotta work, and then I'll come back later after work. Anyway, yeah, I'll be right back. I'll see you guys. Okay, I'm back after a hard day's work. Let's continue. Katashi. Wait, I'll be right back. I forgot to set up my LLM. Okay, let's go. It should be loaded this time around. How could I forget? The person you miss is often someone who feels the same way about you. According to the old dictionary in the library, it seems to mean something like that. But I've come to realize that these two kanji hold more meaning than meets the eye. Well, I'm not gonna make it. We, at least anyone who can't read Japanese didn't make it. Just looking at you sleeping like this, it's natural for feelings allowed to overflow. Actually, just watching him. Like when you slowly open your eyes and see your own face reflected, adjusting the angle so only yours is in view.
Nick senpai, ohayou gozaimasu.
That really is the most girliest opening good morning ever. I mean, I know that Yuito's VA is a woman, so but sometimes it really is straight up really like, you know, it's straight up talk. It feels like straight up talking to, you know, it's hard to believe that this is a dude, but you know, we know it's a dude.
Hi. Ohayou gozaimasu. Yui.
Like, how a simple greeting can make you feel like your hearts are connected, and a smile just naturally appears on your face. And so on. I love not just the person, but their words and gestures, their thoughts, the environment, and phenomena surrounding them, even the passage of time itself. The thing that I've learned about being a lover these past few days. That's what I've learned being about a lover these past few days. Our relationship is an open secret. The thing is, at first, I thought we should keep the changes in our relationship a secret too, since there were things about our backgrounds that couldn't be revealed. But our cover-up was no match for the formidable Katagiri Yaika, and it was exposed without much of a fight. For some reason, everyone around them knew that they were those two, but nothing much came of it. Thinking about it that way, we were almost saved by the modern values where romantic relationships between women have become universal. That's how I ended up getting a lover as a result, and I started to feel more attached to my everyday life than ever before. But even such peaceful moments are just a brief respite when you consider the turmoil to come. Wait, I need to check. For some reason, sometimes I am getting a issue with like the GPU utilization. I don't know what's causing that right now, other than a couple of things. But anyway, let's continue. The countdown to a coup d'etat by the LFP and the Purification Committee is ticking closer with every passing moment. Even so, unfortunately, because the opponent was simply too large, I still didn't have any concrete counter plans. You know, one of the major drivers of the coup d'etat was that the security, basically, the security force were all deployed in the front lines. So, right now, if they don't have like an order to go to the front lines, it's, you know, it's still like something that minimizes the it will minimize the giving the Purification Committee and a push to do the coup d'etat. I mean, if the security force is there, you know, right? But that involves that requires Gaia to be attacking the city, because that gave them motivation to do a counterattack in the first place. Anyway, worried about that situation, I was currently in the middle of the discussion with Shirei about our next steps. The issue is how to prevent a coup d'etat before it happens. I don't want to put anyone in danger if I can help it. Ideally, we handle this with an information war strategy that Shirei and I could manage.
さすがに国家転覆に類する計画を情報戦だけでどうにかしようというのは無茶でしょう。
Very hard, man. No, basically impossible, because they already, the groundwork's already there, and people don't have to go online. You know what I mean? I knew it deep down, but hearing it put into words still can't help but disappoint me.
やはりそうですよね。ええ、すでにこんなものが出てきているわけですし。
In front of me are the delivery lists and the photos of the warehouse shared by Shirei, along with the coordinate information. That information on a recycle factory that Shirei obtained from an NPO server, where they were recovering and reconstructing captured Gaia-made weapons.
マザーが黙認している事業です。迂闊に手を出しても構わないのかという問題もありますが、ですが国家転覆となれば明らかにマザーの意図した計画から逸脱していると思われます。であれば破滅を避けるために動くのも我々ドーターの役割でしょう。
Yeah, this is a pain in the ass. I mean, Mother is just like fine with it because of how it helps she interprets it as like a way to increase their forces, but the intentions of the people is different.
そうですね。管轄外ではありますが、やはりこのリサイクル事業には介入しましょう。工場の稼働が活発化してきていることは納品リストにあるスクラップの納品量からも明らかです。それに納品頻度が上がってきています。処理するための設備や人員が拡充されている可能性が高いと見るべきです。設備はともかく人員の拡充は見過ごせない状況ですね。
A half-assed organization might have its fence-setting members who aren't fully committed, leak information that sounds like social justice. If the secret's exposure exposes an existential threat to the organization, then the deployment of combat units and weaponry would most likely be carried out in secrecy. But more people means the risk is decreasing, which means most of their members support this revolution.
今であればこの設備を破壊することで組織に壊滅的なダメージを負わせることが可能です。ここ以外にも工場が広がり潤沢な供給を行う体制が整う前に破壊するべきかと。そうなるとせめて爆薬くらいは準備しておかないといけませんね。
My current equipment isn't reliable enough, but I can't exactly take anything from the Tea Club's supplies this time. I need some time to prepare as well.
セムテックスであれば調達可能ですね。物流の絶対量が増えている今なら少量消えたとしてもすぐに発覚はしないでしょう。
Bruh. It's already 2100. They're still using some techs. This should be at using like, I don't know, C69 at this point. I don't know, C100, C4. I mean C100 because it's the future. I don't know, man.
あまりに少量では完全破壊に至らない可能性もありますが、弾薬庫があるはずですので最悪そこを狙います。核物質を保有している可能性はないでしょうか。ガイアは基本的には反核思想の持ち主です。よほどの大型兵器以外原子炉の類を搭載している例は見られませんので汚染の心配はないでしょう。わかりました。それでは装備品の準備はこちらでしておきます。何人分必要ですか？1人分で構いません。1人で行くつもりですか？ 単独での戦闘行動はあまり推奨しませんが。
This is a solo mission.
とはいえ、周囲の助力は期待できません。能力や経験を鑑みても、私単独の方が効率的な潜入行動ができると思います。
Wow, that's going to be a sneaking mission, man. The more people there are, the more options we have, so the mission success rate goes up. But this is real combat. It's different from virtual battles using practice rounds. That's precisely why I can't involve everyone else.
なるほど。確かにその通りですね。では、一人分の装備とセムテックスを調達しておきます。配送先は同じでよろしいですか？はい。いつも通りのロッカーへお願いします。了解です。では、準備が完了次第、改めて連絡します。
I got out the connection and opened my eyes. Checking the time, it was already late at night.
みんな、すでに眠っているようですね。
I got up quietly and slipped out of bed. I performed my daily checks on Himeno Akari's sleep status and saved today's data to the health management database.
本日も異常なし。よく眠れているようでよかったです。
Why am I having some GPU issues? Oh no, it's I'll admit, on my second monitor I'm listening to another stream. Okay. Himeno Akari's condition, which had worsened for a while, was now completely back to normal. She's still not a morning person, but she can get up earlier than when she first started school. Even if it's just a little at a time, she's growing too.
さて、次は。
I tiptoed closer to Yui's bed and peeked through the curtains just a little. The gentle face of Yui as he slept was bathed in the moonlight streaming through the gaps in the curtains.
呼吸は一定で正常。熟睡できているようですね。
I'll also register Yui's sleep state in the database as usual. Lately, Yui seems to be sleeping peacefully without being tormented by nightmares. Lately, after finishing my routine, I've been staring at Yui's sleeping face like this the whole time. Just a little while ago, looking at his sleeping face made my heart stop, but now I feel so calm. It's not that I feel absolutely nothing. There's a warm, comforting sensation spreading slowly through my chest. It was a strange feeling, knowing it was exactly like my past love in some ways, even though it was completely different.
これも恋なのだとしたら、恋とは一体いくつの面があるのでしょうか。
Passion is love. Calmness is love too. There must be so many kinds of love out there too. I want to keep searching for a different kind of love with him. That's why
必ず勝ち取ってみせますから。
I gave him a light kiss on the cheek and closed the curtains. This isn't for anyone else. It's my battle. I renewed my resolve and began preparing for the battle to come. Automata in Love, Episode 4. Episode 4. A few days later, I got a call from Shure saying everything's ready. Since it was a holiday that day, I've been visiting the market since morning to receive my equipment.
今日はいい天気ですね。暑いくらいです。
It's a beautiful light day like this, and instead of going on a date with my Kachi, I'm here receiving weapons. It just hurts to think about it. But this is for the sake of our future together, for a bright and peaceful future, if necessary. It's necessary. If it's a date, I can do whatever I want in the future time. Future, peaceful future. Telling myself that, I stopped thinking about it any further. The coordinates should have indicated led to a coin locker that's no longer in use. This coin locker uses an old-fashioned dialogue, so anyone can open it if they know the combination. That anyone can open it quality was really useful for exchanging things between Shirei and me.
暗証番号は
The passcode is PAT FAT from N to sure.
女性に向かってファットとは深い意味はないのでしょうけれど。
I like how she also thought about it. That's just part of Sherry's personality. Maybe she got called Showa-san because of this lack of tact. I'll try to hint at it subtly next time.
4039
There was a large Boston bag inside the locker. Pulling out the Boston bag, I could tell it was pretty heavy. They must be keeping their equipment and ammunition all mixed together. The sound of metal rubbing against metal was more grating than I expected. I set down my Boston bag and checked its contents. Two handguns, 20 spare magazines were 9mm, 2 knives, 2 ammo belts, and 2 bulletproof vests. There's 2 of everything. 2 reconnaissance drones, 2 grenades each, 20 kilos of Semtex, 10 sets of crucial blasting caps. It's a bit much for just one person, but it's probably prepared with extras in mind. I'm well equipped. The preparations themselves are almost completely finished, so the remaining tasks are equipping the actual combat gear and dividing up the Semtex. Shirei's already calculated the optimal placement and amount of explosives to efficiently destroy the facility, so all we have to do is divide them accordingly. Carrying this much luggage back to the academy means I'll definitely catch someone's eye. I'll come here again tonight and get everything ready before heading to the location. After that, I went back to Akasha and spent my time building an alibi by having meals with Rin in the cafeteria or tutoring Himeno Akari. Dividing resources between action and thought, I repeatedly review the operation plan and simulate infiltration patterns in my mind. I made meticulous preparations for tonight's operation, leaving no stone unturned to ensure a foolproof setup. And then later at night. After everyone had fallen asleep, I quietly slipped out of the dorm. No one is to notice that I disappeared from Akasha today. Since we can't go through any places that will leave a record, it looks like I'll have to climb over the surrounding fences instead of going straight ahead as usual. I remember there was a section of the shooting range fence that had been damaged by ricochets and left unrepaired. There's a rumor that some students use it to sneak out past curfew, and there are blind spots from cameras. Let's head through there towards town.
Mick senpai.
Oh shit, she thought he was asleep. Out of nowhere, I was called out from behind. Hearing that voice, I can't help but clutch my head. Please, let it be a mistake. Please tell me I'm mistaken. Looking back on it now, there was...
夜のお散歩ですかミク先輩。
The person I longed for the most was also the one I least wanted to see there.
ええ
I gave a vague response while scanning my surroundings. There's no sign of anyone else hiding there. Looks like it's just Yui by himself. I thought you'd check if he was asleep or not. I guess it doesn't work as well as you think it would. If that's the case, I could knock Yui out of here and force my way through. I don't want to drag Yui into this fight. If that means I have to resort to some forceful method, so be it. Obviously, she doesn't want to do that. I clenched my fist, but I stopped myself just as I was about to strike. Yui had no reservations whatsoever about me. That was clear from the way he stood there, completely unarmed and unguarded. And it's proved that he trusts me too. I couldn't bring myself to destroy that trust he finally placed in me, even if it's for my own mission.
ええそんなところです。皆さんが眠った後は時間を持て余すことが多くて、こうして散歩しているのです。
そうだったんですか。わざわざ私服に着替えて外まで行くんですか。
内緒にしていてくださいね。
はい。また一つ先輩の秘密を知っちゃいました。
The way he says that happily isn't a form of coercion, but rather he's enjoying the sense of camaraderie for sharing secrets.
でも、もし何か悩み事があるんだったら、話してもらえたらもっと嬉しいです。
But then, he suddenly switches to a probing tone and asks me,
悩み事ですか。
はい。今日のミク先輩は、なんだかちょっと様子が違うような気がして。
そんなことは。
ありますよ。恋人なんですから。ちょっとした変化でも気づきます。
かもしれませんね。
Isn't it convenient that there's two sets of things? Anyway, I'm sure I'll notice Yui's changes too. Even if I wanted to hide it among myself, the more they thought about it, the more likely they were to realize it. The more I thought about it, the more he'll likely realize it. Okay. That's precisely why I can't offer any rebuttal.
何かあったんですか？
お話できません。
そうですか。
Seeing Yui's expression, he's clearly hurt by my words. He felt pain as if he were being carved up himself. I felt pain as if I were being carved up myself. It wasn't just a matter of guilt. I wanted to hug him and apologize right now, but I feel so pathetic that I couldn't bring myself to do it.
そんなに僕は頼りないでしょうか。
違うのです。これは私の問題で、あなたを巻き込みたくないのです。
どうしてミク先輩は巻き込んでくれないんですか？僕の問題にもあかりの問題にも自分から巻き込まれてくれて解決の道筋までつけてくれたじゃないですか。
Well, remember, Miku was complaining, I'm doing all this by myself and I don't even get a thanks? Well, you're getting your chance to have someone join you now. So, although it's a bit dangerous, but you know.
なのにどうして自分の問題にだけは絶対に僕を巻き込ませてくれないんですか？
それは
because I haven't told Yui everything about myself. It's because I haven't told Yui the most important thing about the simulation and altering the future I can't involve him. Then wouldn't it be better to just talk about it? With his power, the operation is sure to succeed. He wasn't the kind of person to casually babble out other people's secrets either. If he believes in me, then I should believe in him and talk to him. That's all there is to it. Whether he believes it or not is up to him. If I face him honestly, he'll surely understand.
いや、やはり話せません。
I imagine what would happen after he overstepped my boundaries, and I understood it all too well. Once you drag him, his future, his whole life, is decided right there. I couldn't tell anyone before because it was hard to prove, but that was the right answer after all.
やっぱり僕ではダメなんですね。
Seeing my hesitation, a clear shadow of disappointment fell over his expression. Seeing that, I hurriedly tried to explain myself.
それは違います。違うんです。話したいとか話したくないとか、信用できるとかできないとか、そういう話ではなく。
話せない？
私の中には、私個人やアカシア学園どころではない国家をも揺るがす情報が入っています。
はい。
私の都合にはどこかに必ず極秘事項が含まれています。それを知るということは、その重圧を背負うということになるのです。私はただの端末です。記憶の消去も簡単で、だからこそ機密を扱うのに適しています。ですが、人間の記憶は複雑です。デリートキーを押すだけで消えるような簡単なものではない。私と人間のあなたとでは管理の扱いにも大きな差が出るのです。
管理の扱いですか？
思い切った表現をするならば、私はフォーマットされれば再利用が可能なメディアです。ですがあなたは知ってしまったが最後、再利用不可能なメディアとして処分されるか、一生を制限されて過ごすしかなくなってしまいます。
そんなことは。
大げさだと思うかもしれませんが、これは事実です。それほどマザーは情報管理を重要視していると認識してもらって構いません。不安にさせてごめんなさい。傷つけてしまってごめんなさい。でも私はあなたにこんな重圧は与えたくない。
Wait, I have to wear a jacket because it's cold for some reason tonight.
これは一人の人間に背負わせるにはあまりにも酷な重圧なのです。
はい。
He said that as if squeezing it out from the depths of his throat, then hung his head and fell silent. It might be cruel, but it's also true. And that fact only served to drive home just how different our worlds are. It was him and me too. I wasn't prepared enough either. Not just dragging him into this, but also for the possibility of having to take care of him myself. I never thought I'd realize it now of all times. But time doesn't wait for my sentimental feelings. The time to prepare for the operation was drawing near. I turned on my heel and with a heavy heart faced away from Yui.
すみません。もう行かなくては。
待っ てください。僕は。
では。
This is what they mean by having second thoughts. I desperately shook off the feeling of gravity pulling me backward and took a step forward.
待ってください。
That desperate step Yui easily shortens by taking my arm.
話していただけませんか？
いえ、今僕は覚悟を決めました。ミク先輩の事情に巻き込まれます。
Well, you know, this guy has been already involved with a lot of secrecy himself, so but you know, it's also kind of dangerous.
”ちょっと待ってください。そんな簡単に。”
簡単なんかじゃありません。僕は恋人として、それ以前に仲間として先輩の事情に首を突っ込みます。
仲間って。
仲間。
ミク先輩言ってくれたじゃないですか。本当の意味で仲間になりたいって。助け合うことをしなくて何が仲間ですか。僕を仲間だと思ってくれているなら巻き込んでください。
He said that with every intention of gaining my trust, putting everything on the line, and there's absolutely no lie in that feeling. And because he fights for someone else, I'm secretly thrilled that he's decided to fight for me too. But that's a different story altogether. I can't let him ruin his life over a momentary feeling. This is bad. We really need to get going. I really need to get going soon, or we won't make it in time for the operation. This incident is serious enough to call off or postpone for the operation, but if we delay it any further, the next possible launch window won't be until next month.
この際、仕方がありません。
I guess there's no helping it. 仕方ない。We had to destroy the factory as soon as possible, or the coup preparations might be completed. In this case, I'll only reveal information that won't be fatal to him, and have him participate as support. If that's what he needs to be satisfied, that's for the best.
わかりました。一緒に来てください。
ミク先輩、ありがとうございます。
時間がありませんので、移動しながら状況を説明します。
僕この格好ですけどいいんですか
？40秒で支度できますか
？3分ください。
それ以上は待たずに置いていきます。迅速に、かつ気づかれないように着替えてください。
はい、3分以内に戻ります。
Yeah, imagine watching a guy who blows up a factory just wearing their gym clothes. It's basically like that. Anyway, I walk as quickly as possible through only the blind spots of the surveillance cameras and explain the situation to Yui briefly. I got reliable intel that the Purification Committee is mass-producing weapons. We're infiltrating solely for investigation, avoiding combat as much as possible, but if it's true, we'll secure the evidence and destroy the weapons. It's about exposing the evidence, weakening the momentum of the Purification Committee, and crushing any kind of conspiracy, something like that.
兵器、陰謀、そんなことになっていたんですね。
Hearing the explanation, Yui nodded with a troubled look on his face, seemingly without any particular doubts.
でも、単独で潜入っていうのはちょっと危ない気がするんですが。
いえ、逆に多人数での潜入の方が隠密を保つことが難しいと思います。今回は殲滅でなく調査がメインです。単独の方がフットワークが軽いので臨機応変な対応が可能です。
それはそうかもですが。
Yui looked down, looking dissatisfied.
でも本当だった場合は破壊工作に切り替わるんですよね。その場合一人だと手間取りませんか？ 僕も一緒に行ければいろいろサポートできると思うんですが。
Sure, if he's around, the simple tasks double up. The most time-consuming part of this operation is setting up the semtex. Since our only means of communication is audio, it might take a bit to give you coordinates, but I'll definitely appreciate your presence. Even if it comes to a fight, Yui has combat experience. His abilities shouldn't be an issue.
なんだか肯定的な理由を並べて自分で自分を説得しているような気がしてきました。
More or less. Even if it's just a momentary feeling, I'm definitely starting to rely on his emotions. But I still don't want to take him along. It's not just about keeping information secret. This isn't a fight for freedom of expression, nor is it a battle to save someone. At this point, it's just a criminal act, practically terrorism. Of course, since it's a battle to prevent a coup beforehand, technically it's not terrorism. But if we can't get evidence of the coup, and our involvement is revealed, we'll just be branded as terrorists. And Nagashi Academy, having raised terrorists, will undoubtedly become a target of condemnation. The opposing forces will seize this opportunity to target the security force in the academy, aiming to destroy them both socially and physically. That's the worst possible outcome of this operation. To avoid that, we had to meet 3 requirements: complete stealth, absolute preservation of evidence, and total destruction of the facility. This is going to be a really tough mission. Even if I mess up, as long as he's not at the scene, we can avoid suspicion falling on him. If it were just me, I could just self-destruct or reset everything and be done with it. I like how he could just self-destruct, because, you know, she could always just replace her body. It's that easy. Wait, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. In that sense, we should limit his involvement to just being a support staff member helping out. They really made the effort for that.
ユイ、爆発物の講習は受けましたか？
あ、はい。 TNT と C4 の講習は受けました。
それではこれを 2kg ずつに切り分けてもらえますか？
Man, he took the course for CNT and C4. Damn, I thought they were already C69 at this point. It's 2100, what the hell? Anyway, but like, he really did go through the whole thing. And he just thrown into the battlefield. What the fuck, bro?
これ C4 ですか？何キログラムあるんですかこれ？
それはセムテックスです。厳密には違いますが、大体同じようなものです。全部で 20kg ありますので、10等分してもらえれば問題ありません。
わかりました。やってみます。
その間に私は装備の方をチェックします。
2kg ってこんな感じかな。
Bruh, I like how they really went hard for the sound effects for this scene. No sound effects. What's the term? There's a term for that. I forgot. It's, I mean, there's dedicated people who worry about that.
ミク先輩、こんな感じでいいんでしょうか？
うん。
Damn.
って なんて格好してるんですか。
アンダーウェアの防弾シャツがありますので、一旦脱いで着替えています。気休め程度ですが、ないよりはマシです。
こんな場所で着替えたら誰かに見られちゃいますよ。
心配いりません。周囲には人の気配も監視カメラもありませんので。
僕がいますって。
裸を見られている相手に今さら下着を見られてもという感じなのですが。
あ、いや、まあそうですけど。
Yeah, how are you still nervous after doing a lot of things with her?
大丈夫ですよ。あなた以外に裸を見せるつもりはありませんから。
そういうことを言ってるんじゃなくてですね。
切り分けたセムテックスはラップに包んでおいてください。
いきなり業務連絡しないでください。わかりましたけど。
こちらは準備完了です。セムテックスの方はいかがでしょうか。
10歩準備できました。
ありがとうございます。
I stuffed this cut sentais into a small backpack. We managed to shorten the time it took to separate them, so the delay was cancelled out.
それでは行ってきます。
Well, I mean, what do you call it? No, it's Yui who did it.
はい。
そんな顔をしないでください。根性の別れというわけではないのですから。
そんな縁起でもないことを言わないでください。
すみません。デリカシーがない言い回しでした。
いえ、僕もすみません。ついムキになってしまって。
The words trail off and silence falls. That's when it suddenly occurred to me. Maybe I messed up my plan and might end up broken. If that's how it turned out, Yui's last expression was such a downcast one I'll definitely regret. It would surely leave him with a great regret too. It's Yui we're talking about. I'm afraid he'll probably live a painful life carrying this regret with him. That's a future I don't want. I don't know what to say. I can't find the words. The alarm for the travel time started going off as is.
では行ってきますね。
はい。お気をつけて。
Yui said that with a forced smile. His face was so painful and heartbreaking that I couldn't help but pull Yui close.
ミク先輩？
Oh.
すみません。少しだけこうさせてください。
Oh, this always the holy shit.
はい。
The hand that wrapped around my back gradually grew stronger. It feels like it perfectly captures Yui's current feelings, making it hard to let go. But even as I was doing that, the time passed in a flash. I finally reached my limit, literally. I tore myself away from his body and turned around for the third time.
そろそろ本当に行きます。
はい。本当にお気をつけて。
すぐに終わります。それまでここにいてください。帰りに駅前でラーメンを食べて帰りましょう。朝まで営業している美味しい店があるのです。
I like how they have 24/7 places here in the city. I mean, I don't know. They never gave me the impression of what the city is like at the night, so it's good to know. It's still like your regular old city. You know, it still has a ramen place open at 24/7. I mean, until morning.
そうですか。楽しみにしています。
Finally, he gave me a little smile. Seeing that, I felt relieved and my resolve hardened.
では
If we keep talking, I won't be able to leave anymore. I raised my hand over my shoulder and ran off without waiting for a reply. I wonder if my conversation skills have improved even a little bit. I can't measure how much it meant to me, but at this moment, I was able to make the person I wanted to see smile, laugh, and that was enough. Okay, I need to take a break because my dinner is almost ready, and I'll eat dinner, and I'll be back for a good scene. Anyway, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let's go. It took me 10 minutes to run at full speed from the coin locker. I stopped walking in the corner of an abandoned district. There wasn't a soul around. Right next to us is a dilapidated warehouse covered in moss and overgrown with ivy. But a faint tremor coming from who knows where hints that this warehouse isn't just an abandoned ruin.
昼夜問わず稼働とは今時まさかのブラックぶりです。
Labor infused with conviction can sometimes surpass labor standards law. I mean, especially in the world where, especially in the world where there's fewer people and things are dire. Anyway. That kind of thinking was believed to have vanished along with the old era, but sadly there were still people trapped in it. He's a true corporate warrior, Aki.
なるとふざけている場合ではありませんね。
I quickly circled around an abandoned warehouse to check out the security situation. Looks like there aren't any sentries around here. I thought security was surprisingly lax, but that's because all entrances to the warehouse have been bricked up and destroyed. I see. If they can prevent anyone from entering and leaving their surface, there's no need for security either. The only thing there is a massive shelter for loading and unloading, but it's not your typical shutter. It's more like a huge iron door. Breaking through here would be next to impossible without heavy weaponry. When it comes down to it, there's only one infiltration route left. I head towards the infiltration route I had originally planned on. If you go a little further into the ruined city, you can enter the underground waterways by following the crumbling asphalt. This drainage system was built back when climate change was just beginning, as a measure against sudden torrential downpours. It was built to withstand massive amounts of water, so unlike a typical sewer, it's wide enough for people to move around with ease. Using this drainage pipe will get us straight to the factory. Plus, since power lines are limited, there aren't many security cameras either. It was as if it were saying, use this place to infiltrate. Of course, they're not so incompetent as to miss that.
いますね。
A security guard was standing in the corner of the waterway leading to the factory. And she's wearing it so casually, a gun slung low, dressed in body armor and night vision camo with a scope. It was probably because it's underground, but taking advantage of being out of sight, you really gone all out, haven't you?
2人いる。
This is weird. According to Sheree, there should only be one guard. That's precisely why I chose today for this time, but still.
姉様、すみません。緊急事態です。もしや警備の予定が変わりましたか？その通りです。体調不良者が多かったため、翌日のシフトと差し替わったようです。おおよそテロリストとは思えない理由ですね。何やらインフルエンザが流行しているようです。人類は脆弱ですね。それはそうと、潜入方法に困っています。
Ain't that convenient? Because a lot of people are randomly ass sick.
そうですね。非殺傷武器はドローンだけですし、素手での失神狙いは確実性に欠けます。もう警備兵を殺すしかないのでは？あなたはもう少し生命を尊重することを覚えてください。もちろん人類種の保護は我々の基本目標です。ですが絶滅を危惧する数値ではないですし、全体の利益につながるなら今さら少しくらい減ったところで誰も気にしないかと。マクロからの視点ではそうですが、知的生命は個々が活発な交互監視と通信を行っています。もう少しミクロの視点も持たないと足元を救われますよ。なるほど。確かに今回のこれはいい例ですね。今後はミクロ視点の参照も考慮に加えます。そうしてください。
I wonder what I should do about this after all. Security is just one person, and there aren't any security cameras here either. That's why I was planning to neutralize the guards here and infiltrate the facility openly, but
このままでは本当に来月まで待たなければならなくなりそうですね。
But I don't have the time to be so leisurely about it. I guess I had no choice but to force my way in, even if it's a bit of a stretch.
あまり死者は出したくなかったのですが。
I drew my handgun from its holster and ejected the magazine. At the front, I could see a bullet gleaming dully gold. I loaded the magazine and attached a silencer. I released the safety, racked the slide, and chambered around in the barrel.
飛び込んで慌てているところを一人、それを盾にもう一人。
If it's just two of us, we might be able to handle it with a surprise attack. Oh, two of them. We won't be able to fire first. We won't let them fire first. We'll have to take advantage of their hesitation to subdue them.
対象2名に対して奇襲を仕掛けます。周辺警戒のサポートをお願いします。少々お待ちください。すぐに増援が来ます。増援？もしや潜入が発覚したのですか？いえ、違います。こちらの増援です。
Oh, she's gonna help out? Like, she's... I don't remember asking for reinforcements, and I certainly didn't make any such plans. What's going on?
増援と言われても何が？最大の問題は警備スケジュールが変わったため工作に使える時間的余裕が減少したことです。そうです。ですのでこちらの人手も増やせばその心配はなくなると考えます。なるほど。しかしその増援というのはどこから湧いてくるのですか？簡単です。手近にちょうどいい駒、いえ人材がいましたので招集しました。人材？
I don't have anyone in mind who fits that description. I wonder why. I have a bad feeling about
到
this.
着しましたね。
I turned around almost at the same time as she raised voice, sensing a faint sound of footsteps approaching from behind.
お待たせしました。
I'm so not surprised. I'm so not surprised. That's why there's two of them. 2 handguns, 2 body armor. It's so obvious. I felt a dizzying sense of dread as my bad premonitions proved accurate.
Miku 先輩、大丈夫かな。いや、僕が信じて待てなくてどうする。恋人なんだし。でもだからこそだよ。恋人を一人で送り出すなんて。いやでもミク先輩も言っていた通り、僕がいろいろ知ってしまうことで先輩の迷惑になるのは、いやでもそれを一緒に乗り越えてこそ恋人なんじゃ。やっぱり行こうかな。でも丸腰で行ったところで。通信？一体どこから？ロッカーの中？やっぱりロッカーからだ。まさかミク先輩通信機を忘れて。でもこのロッカーだったっけ？隣だったような。とりあえず開けて。あれ？鍵かかってない。中には通信機だけ。やっぱりミク先輩の荷物は隣だよね。じゃあ誰かの忘れ物か。勝手に出たらまずいし、ここに置いておこう。鳴らしながら探してるかもしれないし。ずっと鳴ってる。もしかして僕がここにいるから取りに来れないとか。誰かがこっちの様子を伺ってそうな気配はないけど、ちょっと離れてみようかな。離れなくていいですから早く出てください。片桐、あなたですよ。ほら早く。
I like how Shiri was like, bro, just pick up, man.
私に言ってる？あなた以外に誰がいるんですか、そこに。会話が成立してる。早くほら急いで。別に会話が成立してるなら開けなくてもいいんじゃないですか？そうしないといつまでも大声ですよ。私は別に構いませんが。ではあなたの秘密をこのまま大声で話します。何のことです？皆さん、ここに音。
I like how Shuri's having a good fun time right now.
わかりました。出ますなら早くしなさい。手に取った瞬間爆発とかしませんよね。その気があるならあなたが一度ここを開けた時点で爆発しています。確かに。じゃあ出ますよ。さっさとしろボケナス。口が悪いな。もしもし。
やっと出ましたか。私はシレイ、ミクの、そう、妹です。
ミク先輩の妹ですか？つまりあなたも？
ええ、オートマタです。あなたについての詳細は姉様から聞いています。女性しかいない場所に女装して潜入してきたド変態だと。
Jesus Christ, Shuri.
ミク先輩がそんなことを？
いちいち傷つかないでください。アホですか。嘘に決まっているでしょう。
こいつ。
おっと、そこまで。遊んでいる場合ではないのです。
そっちが煽ってるんじゃないですか。それで何の用ですか？
あなたに頼み事があって連絡しました。
頼み事をする相手に暴言から入るんですね。
私からすればあなたは姉を道から踏み外させた張本人です。文句や嫌がらせの一つくらい許されるべきでは？
それは。
あなたがいなければ姉は無事に任務をこなし、トラブルなく帰還していたはずです。あなたのせいで姉は悩み苦労することになったのですよ。自覚はないのですか？まあ理由の9割は計画を頭から崩されて苛立っていたので八つ当たりをしただけですが。
真面目に受け止めて損した。
Jesus Christ, Sheree. Get your shit together.
って計画が崩れた？それってミク先輩が今やっている？
そうです。潜入作戦の計画です。
大変じゃないですか。ミク先輩は無事なんですか？
落ち着いてください。別に姉様の存在の危機というわけではありません。ただどうしてももう一人協力者が必要になったので。
なるほど。
そういうわけなのでさっさと言ってください。場所は。
それは先輩の望んでいることなんですか？
どういう意味でしょうか。
ミク先輩は私を現場に連れて行くことを最後までためらっているようでした。詳しくは聞けませんでしたが、何か理由があるからだと思います。私がいることでミク先輩の望まない結果になるのなら、それこそ司令さんが助けに行くべきではないですか？
残念ながら私は行けないのです。時間に間に合わないので。
時間？
今回の作戦はかなり時間に縛られているところがあります。私が今から向かっても距離があるので間に合わない。故にあなたに頼みたいのです。このままだと作戦は失敗に終わります。最悪姉様は自爆する覚悟かもしれません。
自爆？どうしてそこまで？
あくまで最悪の話です。ただ私も姉様が自爆するのを黙って見ているわけにはいきません。なので確かに姉様は望まないかもしれませんが、あなたに声をかけたのです。
僕が今から行けば時間に間に合うということなんですよね？
ええ、その通りです。
わかりました。行きます。場所を教えてもらえますか？
もちろんです。ナビしますので可能な限り急いでください。
と、まあそういった経緯でして。
司令、言いたいことはわかります。ですが目的の大きさを考えるべきです。実現可能性の低い作戦にチャレンジする余裕が今の姉様にあるのですか？
It's frustrating, but Sheree is right. At this rate, we won't be able to gather any evidence of the coup, let alone infiltrate anything. I know that much.
ミク先輩、すみません。本意ではないと思うんですが、僕も力になりたいんです。
ゆい。
Guess I have no choice. There's no time to prepare a counter plan right now. Once we achieve our goal and everything's over, all we can think to do is think about what to do next.
わかりました。今は余裕がありません。手を貸してください、ゆい。
はい。
But focus on executing the plan and not worry about anything else right now. I tucked the handgun into my pocket and turned my attention back to the target.
あそこに2名警備の兵士がいるのが見えますか？
はい、目視で確認しました。
私はこれからあの2名を無力化します。彼女たちの意識が戻る前に武装を解除して拘束してください。念のために服も脱がせて一切の装備を残さないように。
Up their clothes.
服もわかりました。
She gave an order, then I suddenly imagined the enemy is a woman. Undressing a woman you rendered helpless means touching her body to prevent them from hiding communication devices. But still, the thought of Yui touching a woman in her underwear was, well, hard to put into words. It made me feel uneasy.
やはり装備の解除は私がやります。
So she'll be the one who stripped them instead.
でも
私がやります。あなたは周辺警戒を。
はい、わかりました。
では始めましょう。
I took a small case out of my pocket and opened it.
それは何ですか？
これはこういったものです。
小さいですね。虫ですか？
いえ、これは偵察機です。
This is a small drone, small adherent insect, equipped with ultra-thin aesthetic needles. The ultra-thin aesthetic needles is small adherent of mosquitoes proboscis. I really don't know how to pronounce that, but I know what that is. So the damage is likely just being bitten by one. It's a top-notch drug that only gives the target the awareness of suddenly feeling sleepy and dozing off, leaving no visible traces. Of course, it's difficult to use in strong winds or long periods because of its compact size, but in situations like this, it's perfect gear for infiltration. When I explained it like that, Yui's eyes lit up and he nodded.
すごい。これがあれば互いにほぼ無傷ってことですね。
その通りです。ただ小さいがゆえに対象1名を短時間昏睡させるだけの麻酔薬しか搭載できません。手持ちは2体ですのでここでおしまいです。ここから先は障害の排除は実弾を使うことになります。
なるほど。警戒は任せてください。
I connected to one of the drones and did a test flight around myself.
通信は良好。バッテリーも十分ありますね。
There's no problem. But I really wish you could do something about that annoying flapping noise. When flying around the enemy, be sure not to fly near its face. If it accidentally get crushed or something, I don't know what Shirei will say to me.
テストも問題なし。行きます。
After connecting to the other unit and completing all action tests, I sent both units toward the guard. A few minutes later, I stripped the unconscious guard of her uniform and gathered up her equipment. I searched her pockets and found the security card I was looking for right where it should be. The one stripped down to her underwear had both hands and feet bound with zip ties, a ball gag in place before being dumped separately into the depths of the drainage ditch. The drug should keep her unconscious for at least 2 hours. And even if she does wake up, it's nearly impossible for her to call for help.
なんとか準備完了ですね。
It was a close call, but I somehow managed to break through security, making it in time. All that's left is to wait until the security within the facility thins out. then sneak in using the security card I got.
こんなに簡単でいいんでしょうか。
楽ができるのはここまでです。ここから先は大変ですよ。
肝に銘じます。
From here on out, we'll need to be pretty flexible and adapt as things come up. If the security at the entrance has changed, we should assume that there have also been changes to the internal security measures. There's a good chance that there are more people than expected, or that they're stationed in places we didn't anticipate. I spent so much time preparing. I can only blame the influenza virus for it all. Flu.
ですが、この後の時間帯は警備が最低限になるのは変わりないはずです。
真夜中ですからね。
Even at the 24-hour convenience, most of the staff have gone home, and the night shift workers are taking turns to nap.
それにユイが来てくれましたから、2人でなら工作を済ませる時間も半分で済みます。
先輩、はい、頑張ります。
I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, just found out a few hours ago, some company just announced that they would be selling robot maids. Like legitimate ones, like actual robot maids. Not well, they act like, well, they are robot maids. But you know, it's usually like the first iteration of those, so we'll probably wait for 10 years before we get something that looks like the stuff we kind of familiar with. But or even to the point where some of it can be reliable. For now, I feel like it's like a toy. You know, I don't know, man. Anyway, let's continue. I can't remember if I read this, so I'll read it again if I haven't. Smiling back at Yui as he pumped himself with a look of excitement, I checked the time and gauged my timing. I haven't changed my mind about not involving him if possible, but deep down I couldn't completely deny the part of me that was excited by this adventure with him. As we reached our scheduled time and continued on, we arrived in front of the large iron gate that must be the entrance of the factory. Fortunately, there was no guard in sight. The only thing watching over the area was the surveillance camera, its feed replaced with Chile.
随分とまた大行な扉ですね。
水路につながる扉にしては不自然です。
It's supposed to be just a passage for drainage. Even if they were going to install floodgates, there's no reason to put such a massive iron door. And another thing I noticed on our way here, the emergency escape route is clearly too wide, and well maintained to be just that. They probably intend to deploy forces from here during operations.
ミク先輩、あそこにコンソールがあります。
Ahead of Yui, as he runs for a console for entering passwords.
姉様、そこのパスワードですが、どうやら毎日変わっていて、その日の初めに口頭で通達されるようです。口頭ですか。地味に厄介ですね。ですが、所詮口頭です。それほど複雑な文字列は設定できないと思われます。十中八九意味のある単語です。辞書攻撃で十分破れるでしょう。これほど技術が発達しているというのに、辞書攻撃は相変わらずですね。使っているものが変わらないので、それも当然です。人類の発想は何世紀にもわたって停滞したままですから。
セキュリティカードの他にパスワードも必要みたいです。 ミク先輩、わかりますか？
どうやらここのパスワードは毎日変わるようですので、これからクラックします。
クラックですか？機材は？
こちらに。
I pull out tools and a relay device from my pocket. The relay unit had an LCD screen, and based on that, Shirei connected to crack it, displaying the password on the screen.
なるほど。でも一度線を切っちゃうんですよね。発砲しませんか？
すでに調査済みです。不意の接続不良の際に都度発砲しないよう30秒間の待機時間があります。
30秒？そんな短時間で何が？
大丈夫です。まあ見ていてください。
Before I could even finish speaking, I quickly unscrewed the bolts and revealed the contents of the panel. I searched for communication cables and checked for the structure of each core wire by touching them, eventually finding one with a high level of hardness.
これが単線ですね。
I tugged on the cable a little harder and found some slack. It seems like this is definitely the line that runs all the way to the
で
terminal.
は始めます。
I cut the cable with a knife and stripped off 1 centimeter of insulation from both ends. I bundle up the core and remove the sheet before inserting it into the connector. Connect the completed connector to the repeater and finish. It took only 25 seconds, more than enough time to issue a warning.
すごい。
Yui, who had been staring intently at my hands, let out an exclamation of amazement. It wasn't much of anything, but for just that reason, I somehow felt a strange sense of pride.
このくらいは朝飯前です。
すごい動きでした。ミク先輩、退役後は電気工事士になったらどうですか？
Jesus.
無免許なのでまずは免許の取得からですね。
無免許凄腕工事士。
もちろん適正価格で請け負いますよ。
The rest is up to Shirei, who accessed the relay station and should be able to crack the terminal that manages the passwords, displaying today's password here.
姉様、クラック成功です。お疲れ様でした。やはり辞書でしたか。ええ、それに姉様、私たちは祝福されています。いきなりどうしたのですか？私たちの行動は正しい。今その証明が得られたのですよ。
Shirei's voice sounded like she was delirious as she said something incomprehensible and cut the connection. A blessing? A proof? I wonder what happened.
あ、ミク先輩、パスワード出てますよ。
Yui had been peering at the relay unit with interest. Woke up. I'm worried about Shirei's condition, but right now, moving forward is more important.
はい、今司令から完了の連絡が来ました。念のためパスワードを。
I reached for the relay device to record the password, but I lost my words when I saw the word floating on the LCD. Mother watching you. It was written there in small letters. Such a... That's a good coincidence. Coincidence? No way that could be true. Out of all the words in existence, the fact that this word was chosen at this exact moment can't possibly be a coincidence. That's precisely why Shirei believed this to be a message from Mother without any doubt. The Mother's name holds a great deal of meaning for me and Shirei. It's affection, respect, adoration, and even a touch of awe. I can't think of a right word, but if I were to force a name based solely on the meaning of the words, ignoring any emotional connotations, for us, Mother isn't just a concept. It's a real godlike existence. Knowing that our mother was watching over us like that, Shirei seemed to see my support as an act of justice. She must have wrestled with her own reservations about helping carry out an order that wasn't given to her. I've been so reliant on Shirei too. If that's what she was rewarded for by the eyes of her mother as a mother, then I think that's something to be happy about. But for me now, that mother's gaze meant the exact opposite of what it did for Shirei.
ミク先輩どうかしたんですか？
いえ、何でもありません。
Trying not to let anyone notice how I was trembling slightly, I clasped my hands behind my back. I never intended to fail from the start, but I can't afford to fail anymore. That's all there is to it. I don't want to think about anything more right now.
この先が対象の施設内です。警備も敷かれていますので、気を引き締めていきましょう。
はい、わかりました。
Inside the hangar, many machines were working busily. A large number of machines assembled by robot arms were painted that are being transported on a conveyor belt. Looking around, I don't sense anyone else nearby. It seems like everything's automated to a level where inspectors and security guards aren't even needed.
何かの工場みたいですね。
あの倉庫の見た目からは想像できませんが、相当高レベルの設備ですね。
なんだか資料で見た自動車工場みたいな感じですけど。
出来上がるものが違うだけで、設備は同じようなものでしょう。
The parts flowing slowly along the conveyor belt have already been cleaned and standardized in size. It seems this is where they assemble the finished part. They're probably handling scrap decomposition, sorting and part shaping or adjustment on a different
あ
line.
れは
As we walk along the conveyor belt, observing my surroundings, Yui suddenly exclaimed as he looked a bit toward the back. At that location, which was the end of the conveyor belt, a huge number of finished products were lined up.
ゴブリンタイプ？ミク先輩、これガイアの陸戦兵器ですよ。
ご存知でしたか？
何回も殺し合った相手ですから。なんでこんなものがここに？ここ浄化委員の施設なんですよね。ということは浄化委員はガイアの仲間？
いえ、彼女たちはあくまでリサイクルしているだけです。
リサイクル？こんなものをリサイクルして一体何をするつもりなんですか？
きっとろくでもないことに決まっています。兵器を秘密裏に集めてすることなんて限られていますからね。
As long as Mother's watching, I can't say it outright and have to settle for a suggested reply.
なるほど。そこまで恨まれるほどのことを僕たち男性はしてしまったんでしょうか。
Probably Yui interpreted this as something to carry out male genocide. His eyes held a complex color that couldn't be called sadness or loneliness. The current system that isolates men is essentially something Mother created. But if there had been more adjustments to that, things wouldn't have turned out this way. The forces advocating for complete segregation of men and women were a minority until the last century. But things changed drastically after the robot uprising caused by Gaia. A drastic shortage of manpower due to the war that drastically reduced the population, deteriorating public safety, and the need to protect vulnerable groups like women and children. The solution adopted to efficiently resolve those issues was gender segregation. But Mother is an AI whose purpose is to serve humanity. If the majority of people were against it, then that proposal shouldn't have been adopted. Amidst all the chaos, some women hurled misandry at them, but the men, fed up with it all, didn't explicitly reject their stance. Oh, okay, so that's how it worked. Not denying something can also be seen as passive affirmation, considering that it means the current system is partly due to men too. Silence is no sometimes. Silence is no, yeah. Silence is a yes, you know, so that's what happened. But there's no point in saying that now. I hesitate to say that to Yui, who almost lost his life for something he didn't even do.
すみません。そんなことを聞いてもミク先輩に答えられるわけないですよね。
Seeing me at a loss for words, Yui gave his usual troubled smile and said that as if to cover up. It's not that I can't answer, it's just I never questioned it. I was the one who automatically excluded men, so I didn't think I had any right to answer that question.
いえ、私も何も言えなくてすみません。
Come to think of it. For Yui, the present era is a situation where he's being held accountable for something done by some strangers he doesn't even know. Simply put, Yui was just unlucky enough to be born in this era, which led to his misfortune. Could something so cruel really happen? To be born and become unhappy just like that? Can such a world really be what Mother desires? Is that really the everyday life he wants?
今はそんなこと考えてる場合じゃないですね。これは破壊しなくちゃいけないものです。早く準備しましょう。
I snap back to my senses at Yui's words. Right now isn't the time to be worrying about that.
そうですね。早速ですが、セムテックスを設置しましょう。設置場所は指示します。
わかりました。
We took out the Semtex that had been cut into pieces. Yui and I started setting it up separately. It didn't take me long to finish installing the required number of units. But Yui's first time doing this kind of work, it looks like it'll take him a while. There's no point in rushing things and making a mess of the work. While waiting for Yui to finish the task I asked him to do, I was killing time looking for a conveyor belt. Destroying the finished product is a given, but I also thought it would be best to destroy the parts used to dismantle scrap metal they brought in.
やはり人の手も入っていましたか。
The conveyor belt led directly to a ground level delivery exit, and along the way was a fairly sizable work area. The person on this workshop must be hand sorting scraps that have been somewhat finely shredded. It was probably because of the time, but even so, no one was working. That actually suggested that they were hiring and exploiting people.
司令、予算に関わる資料は回収できそうですか。少し難航しています。さすがにネットワーク内にはその手の資料は置かないようですね。監視カメラや帳簿関連のデータも抑えましたが、これといった決定打に欠ける状態です。現在は例の密漁関連組織だったり他の団体からの資金の流れを洗っているところです。今スクラップ処理のラインを捜索しているのですが、規模的に人を雇用しているのではないかと考えています。個人口座への入金があれば人員を無許可の兵器開発に携わらせたとしてその線からの追及も可能かと思いますが、経理関連の入出金データにはスクラップ運搬に関わる企業との受発注のやり取りくらいしか見当たりませんね。当然人件費も計上されていますが、詳細はかなり高額な役員報酬のみですね。なるほど、そこから報酬は手渡しという感じですか。働く側も税金のかからない小遣い稼ぎといったところでしょう。となると 口座周りからの追及は難しそうですね。さすがに裏帳簿はあるとは思いますが、スタンドアローンか外部メディアで管理しているでしょうね。なるほど。となるとそちらの捜索が優先されるでしょうか。いえ、あるとすればこちらでしょう。現場に置いたままにすることは考えづらいです。軽く捜索して見当たらなければ予定通りに進行させて問題ないと考えます。なるほど、了解です。軽く上層を捜索の後改めて報告します。
Cutting communication with Sherry. It was almost time for Yui to finish his work.
ユイ、状況はいかがですか？
お待たせしました。今ちょうど終わったところです。
いえ、時間通りです。お疲れ様でした。このまま脱出したいところなのですが、捜索したいものがあります。
了解しました。
After that, we started searching the upper floor. I started searching the upper floors with Yui, but there aren't many rooms to begin with, so the search itself was over quickly.
特に何も見つかりませんでしたね。
まあ、ないならないで。地下の施設だけでも十分な証拠になりますから、大きな問題はありません。
Only two rooms seemed to function as living spaces: a rest area with hot water facilities and what looked like a small office. Both of them had a PC set up for administrative tasks, but there wasn't any data on either one. Probably the upper floors are only open as rest facilities for workers.
仮想に戻ってもう一度捜索しますか？
いえ、もう十分です。そろそろ脱出しましょう。捜索完了です。残念ながら特に成果はありませんでした。お疲れ様です。やはりそうでしたか。そちらの方はいかがですか？ええ、いくつか抜けはあるかもしれませんが、大体の資金の流れは洗えました。これが公開されれば一網打尽と言っていいレベルまで追い込めるでしょう。わかりました。では現場を離脱します。了解しました。地上階のシャッターを開けておきましたので、脱出はそちらからどうぞ。助かります。ありがとうございます。では行きましょうか。
はい。
いえ、司令が地上階のシャッターを開けてくれました。そちらから脱出しましょう。
Did I just double click? Jesus.
わかりました。
When we arrived in front of the shutter, I opened the control panel while keeping an eye on my surroundings. It's a simple setup. Just a console for entering the password, a security card reader, and an open-close button. Looking at the LCD screen, it displayed unlocked.
解錠されているみたいですね。
ええ。では起爆装置を起動します。
Pressing the detonator button on my desk caused the countdown to appear in the corner of my vision. Just to be sure, I checked the status of all detonation devices, but there doesn't seem to be any problems.
全装置の起動を確認。180秒後に爆破します。
よかった。ちゃんと動いてくれて。
自信がなかったのですか？
そりゃもう講習を受けただけで実践したことはありませんでしたから。
大丈夫ですよ、あなたなら。大抵のことは問題ないと判断して任せたのですから。
ミク先輩、ありがとうございます。
I think you guys might want to move because you only have 5 minutes.
さあ、帰りましょう。
I mean 3 minutes, sorry. The mission was completed without any problems. Now it's just a matter of what happens. Swallowing my rising anxiety, I pressed the doorbell.
なんだ？
発砲。まさかボタンに何か仕掛けが。自爆装置が作動しました。人員は速やかに地下から退避してください。
Of course, they had this shit going
こ
on.
れは本部の判断です。訓練ではありません。繰り返します。これは訓練ではありません。自爆。
内側からボタンを押したら施設ごと自爆するドアってどんな罠ですかそれ？
ゆい、落ち着いてください。 これはもしかして司令、自爆装置が作動したという警報が流れているのですが。ええ、私が流しています。なぜ突然そんな。いえ、姉様が先ほど生命を尊重しろとおっしゃったので。こうしておけば内部にいる人員は退避するでしょう。爆発に巻き込まれるものは減らせるはずです。また混乱のどさくさで地上界にいる姉様たちを気にするものも減るでしょう。最良の策かと。
You could have told us earlier. I don't know. Sure, he could have still been suspicious, but like she could have said that. She could have told us about the plan earlier.
そうでしたか。わかりました。せめて先に報告が欲しかったですが、片桐結衣へのちょっとした嫌がらせも兼ねています。あなたは姉様がどんな思いを持とうと、片桐結衣が姉様を変えてしまったことは事実です。私個人はそれを良しとしていません。
Those emotos.
私は片桐結衣を許しませんが、害すると姉様は悲しむでしょう。なので嫌がらせをして私はストレスを緩和することにしました。それではあなたが嫌う人間と同じやり方ではありませんか。問答をしている時間はありませんよ。姉様、早く脱出を。後でお説教ですからね。ゆい、大丈夫です。これは司令の工作です。
そうなんですか。一体何の。
Just a prank, bro.
詳しいことはまた今度に。
まあ大丈夫ならそれでいいんですが。
Just a prank, bro.
急ぎましょう。
I pressed the open door button again. We slid through the gap as the shutter slowly opened and took Yui's hand, leaving the warehouse behind. Shame. That was like bait from the author to be like, oh, you want this event to have something happening? No, nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's just sure doing a prank. A terrible kind of prank, though. Anyway, the next morning, the news was dominated by the headlines about terrorist preparations by the Purification Committee. The wreckage of weapons found one after another in the aftermath of the explosion, the suspicious flow of funds that became clear at the same time, and its connection to the illegal poaching goods that have been causing problems lately. The reports became sensational when explanations were added about the risk of stimulating Gaia, and various secrets came to light. Well, in the original timeline, Gaia went ahead and decided to attack her for poaching. But that doesn't seem ill-shaped the nation's political foundations or further weaken it or anything like that. Because in any era, politics exists, but there are those who take on the role of responsibility. Even if they mock me as a lizard that can regenerate its tail, even if they mock them as a lizard that can regenerate its tail, so long as someone takes responsibility, the fire will eventually be extinguished. The reports lasted for about a week, but in the end, the administrative head and several members of parliament were replaced, and things gradually calmed down. The damage to LFP was considerable, but the bedrock of support remained unshaken. It seems unlikely the opposition leader's position would change. You mean Akarisaki? Of course she wouldn't. She's hardcore about what she's doing. Still, the upper echelons of the Morality Commission have largely reshuffled and reformed, so that kind of heavy-handed crackdowns we used to see have died down. There will likely be extremists who will take things too far eventually, but for the time being, we probably won't see another incident on this scale. With the upper echelons of the Purification Committee and all their prepared weapons eliminated, there's no longer any worry about incidents happening due to corrective power like before. Unless if Gaia decides to still continue the attack. And then it will force the security force to send troops to the front lines. And I don't know who's gonna do the coup, but they could still probably attempt a coup or something. Anyway, it seems there's a growing debate about the need to reconsider issues of excessive feminism and misandry in public opinion. If this leads to even a slight improvement in men's status, will Yui's life get any easier? Whether that future will actually come is another question, but there's no doubt the seeds of hope are growing. And so the Purification Committee's coup d'etat was completely thwarted, and my daily life was saved. The despairing future in the Mother Simulation has been avoided.
よく頑張りました。
I quietly offer words of comfort to myself and Yui, who's sleeping right in front of me. Watching Yui's face, as peaceful and children-like in sleep, I savored the normal life I finally obtained. Man, it's still creepy though. She's watching him. Well, you know, but like, I still think something will still happen. Sometime later on a certain day, the Gaia attack incident that occurred in the simulation never happened, so we were living peaceful days where we ended up heading to the coastal area for reconnaissance training. Oh yeah, they still did that. Okay, that's the oh yeah, they did have that because in Akari's route, that's where she first found out. I mean, that's where she finally found out for real. Confirm what she saw, and then they did it. So I wonder if something's going to happen here. Today's mission includes camping. This old city center has a lot of cover, and most of its man-made structures with steel frames. So even if Gaia's weapons are hiding there, it would be really hard to spot. That's why a major incident happened in the past. It's something everyone knows about. Regular patrols like this to maintain safety in the area ultimately led to protecting the everyday. Just because I have a boyfriend doesn't mean I can go about this with a pleasant attitude. I need to be on my guard and approach it seriously. Once night falls and there's no light, carelessly starting a fire could end up revealing your position to the enemy. Which they did, by the way, the original route, but of course they were trying to dry off clothes. Without any light, the night sky must be beautiful. Spending one night by a small flame will surely become a good memory for both of us. But this is a mission. I've said it before, but if you go in with a flippant attitude, you'll be tripped at the slightest misstep. I had to brace myself and go for it.
5人でこの面積ってマジっすか？
マジだ。制限時間は明日の日没まで。手分けしないと到底間に合わないから3班に分かれて行動する。ミクはリネットと組んでドローン操作および非常時の遊撃を担当してくれ。
It still happens in the same way in the simulation. So Miko's like, I want to be with my koibita.
姉さん、そんなにふてくされねえでくだせえよ。
ふてくされてなどいません。
ユイッチとご一緒できなかったのは残念無念でしょうが、任務ですし、ここは一つあっしの顔を立てると思って。
Is Miku talking to Lynette, like, you know, with actual? Of course, because they're both automatons. It's just silly that now this time around you could actually understand what Lynette's talking. What Lynette says.
ふてくされてなど。
じゃあなんでそんなに顔膨らしてるんですかい？
膨れてなどいません。
はあ、喋れるようにしてくだすったんはありがてえですが、会話になりませんぜ。姉さん、機嫌直してくだせえよ。こちとらいたたまれなくて尻尾下がっちまいますよ。はあ。
I was hoping we could enjoy warm coffee together, stargazing, and even saving Yui's sleeping face illuminated by the fire in the library. That's a shame. I even got I even got matching mugs for today and a small star map for Yui, but still. It's truly regrettable. I'd completely forgotten, but come to think of it, this kind of development was in the simulation too. Is it really possible to alter this future now?
何を考えているのですか？
There's no way I'd allow a future alteration based on such selfish reasons. And even though we finally won peace, there's still a chance that careless changes could bring danger back. It's not zero. It's nothing to be apart for just a day. We can make plenty of memories together in the future. Even if today doesn't work out, it's okay to try again later. Even as I try to cheer myself up, there's no sign of downcast feeling lifting. That downcast feeling lifting. The reason is probably not disappointment, but rather the anxiety plays a larger role. The person who became Yui's partner was Himino Akari.
シミュレーションでのこととはいえ、心配です。
In the simulation, Yui and Himino Akari were in a relationship. As because of compatibility, timing, and personality, all those factors considered, it was the most likely outcome. There wasn't even a sliver of space for me to squeeze in.
胸が痛い。
姉さん。
Trailing behind is Renette as she continued her perimeter scan. I let out another big sigh while walking. Even so, just walking and taking in scenery like this, my feelings gradually start to settle down. By the time I finally regained my composure, the surroundings were already shrouded in twilight.
姉さん、少しは気が晴れましたかい？
I really like now we can understand Lynette. Because Lynette was just like randomly talking random ass words.
ええ、すみません。大人げないことをしました。
構いやせんよ。姉さんは人間なんすから。あっしみたいな AI より複雑な分、感情の処理に時間がかかることもあるんでしょう。
そうなのでしょうか。
Apparently, even Renette sees me as human-like. If you're an AI, it's only natural that you wouldn't get excited or upset about romantic feelings. Anyway, it's not good to keep a long face when Renette is trying to cheer me up. Once the reality is set in stone, it can't be undone. It's more constructive to swallow that bitter pill and focus on what comes next.
ありがとうございます。あなたにもつまらない思いをさせてしまいましたね。
いえいえ、あっしは姉さんとこうして散歩してるだけで十分上機嫌でやすよ。いつもはこんなにおしゃべりすることも長時間の散歩もできやせんからね。
あなたが望むならずっとこのままの仕様にしておいてもいいですよ。
いえ、あっしは頭が悪いもんでこっちにリソース割いてると戦えなくなっちまいます。あっしはいざという時盾となって皆さんを守る役目がありやすから。
盾？
そっちの方があっしの本当の役目なんで。喋りが邪魔でそれができないならあっしの生まれた意味が変わっちまいます。あっしは皆さんの盾として生まれた。ですからそれが皆さんのためにあっしがなすべき一番のことでさ。
生まれた意味。
I like how Lilith has like an accent, by the way. In case you didn't notice, she has the Japanese certain kind of regional dialect for Japanese. I never even thought about it. I thought about my purpose countless times, but that's a different story from the meaning of me being here. Even if significance is lost, that doesn't mean it ceases to exist. Existence itself could be rephrased as value. But even though they seem to point at the same thing, I feel like there's something fundamentally different about the meaning of being born. What was I even born for? I'm here to be useful as a terminal for Mother after all. That's true, but why? It just doesn't sit right with me.
私は何のために生まれてきたのでしょうか。
The thoughts I have been having just spilled out.
それはあっしに答えられる問題じゃありませんぜ。姉さん自身が答えを見つけなきゃいけないことですぜ。
そうですよね。
Ren's late response suggested that she jumped to a rejection routine after going through quite a few branches. Apparently the meaning of light, especially the meaning of beyond oneself, isn't something an AI can just easily figure out.
あなたは自分の生まれた意味をどうやって理解したのですか。
それはあっしの行動規範の大前提に人間の安全を守るっていうプロセスがあるからでさ。大前提のプロセスってことはそれを求めて作られたってことっすからね。それこそ生まれた理由ってなわけでさ。
なるほど。
That's a perfectly reasonable reason. But what exactly is the fundamental process for me? Until recently, escaping the simulation was my top priority. But that's a top priority, not a given. What exactly is the fundamental premise of my process? Carrying out Mother's orders faithfully? No, that's not it. In the simulation, I disobeyed Mother's orders and acted on my own. But that was all just within the simulation. But even now, I don't consider Mother's orders to be absolute. If Mother were to make a decision that harmed Yui, I'd resist with all my might. Even at that point of considering it, it means Mother isn't the top anymore. If that's the case, my fundamental premise is...
やめましょう。
Based on my past experience, thinking about this kind of thing alone won't just leave me without an answer. It'll probably lead me down that bad path. After getting twisted up in knots, I ended up making a fool of myself. Or rather, most of the time it ends up inconveniencing Yui and Rin. Then you should have consulted those two from the start.
姉さん、どうかしたんですかい？
いえ、何でもありません。
When you can't handle something alone, rely on someone else. I've grown enough to not to think it pathetic to rely on someone other than Shirei. That day, I stopped at a pace that suggested I had more stamina than the average human and decided to get some early rest. It was just in case of an emergency, but the fact that we haven't received any calls means everyone seems to be okay. Right now, Yui's probably looking up the same star somewhere in this abandoned city too. Every time I think that way, it hurts again to realize that the one beside you isn't me, but Himeno Akari. After repeating that a few times, on the verge of self-loathing, I got up my thought process like I did back then when I overslept. The next morning. Having restored to consciousness by the timer, I started acting early. My mind is clear, free of unnecessary distractions. When I feel like I'm about to get stuck in another pointless loop, it's best to just clear the memory once and for all. I thought I was making decent progress while doing field work with the net, but not exactly quickly.
姉さん、もうゴールですぜ。
そのようですね。
I finally realized I've arrived at the meeting point more than 2 hours early, ahead of schedule.
あっちゅう間でしたね。
本当に道中トラブルもなく無事に到着できて何よりでした。
収集したデータは本部に送信しておきましょうか。
いえ、ストレージに保存しておいてください。他のチームのデータも揃えた上で私が送りますので。
承知しやした。
I sat down on my luggage, took a swig of water from my bottle, and caught my breath. I happened to look up at the sky and saw a flock of pigeons flying by. It's peaceful. Even though nearly 10 million people lost their lives here, this place is too quiet, too peaceful. This place, once a capital, has perished, and the concrete jungle stands as a colossal tombstone. But beneath the surface, submerged by rising seawaters due to global warming, lies a paradise of seaweed and fish. Death and life repeat. That's the cycle of life. Rin, Hime no Akari, Katagiri Yaika, and Yui. They're all in that circle. But I'm not there. I'm the only one who isn't there.
いけませんね。
If I let my guard down, I immediately start thinking in a negative direction. Maintaining mental stability is harder than I imagined. I'm reminded of that again.
姉さん、データのエクスポートと保存終了しやしたぜ。
ありがとうございます。お疲れ様でした。
さて、じゃあそろそろ元の犬っころに戻るとしましょうか。
そうですね。人がいないうちに修正してしまいましょう。本当に良いのですか？
ええ。姉さんと意思疎通ができた経験は今後に生かさせていただきやす。姉さん、本当にありがとうございやした。
いえ、私もあなたから大事なことを学ばせてもらいました。
I still don't understand why Miko gave Lynette a regional accent.
私の方こそありがとうございます。
なんか根性の別れみたいであれっすね。別に足が消えてなくなるわけじゃありやせんし、気楽に行きやしょう。
そうですね。言語翻訳に割いているメモリを元に戻すだけですから。
I connect a cable to Lynette and log in to maintenance node. I quickly delete the language translation program, confirming that I've secured resources, behavioral control, and ration speed, and adjusted the memory allocation. I'll tweak things so I feel a little more joy and excitement, and try to keep the sadness and anger as minimal as possible. I wanted her future life to be filled with happiness, so I made a few adjustments. It was a short trip, but you were kind enough to travel with me. I think it's okay to leave behind something as a memento. After ending maintenance mode and initiating the reboot process, I unplugged the cable from Lynette.
はい、終わりました。
It'll take a few minutes to reboot. While Lynette is rebooting, I decided to kill time by organizing the patrol data and luggage. After a short while, Rin and Katagiri Yaika appeared at the meeting point.
よう、早かったな。
メイク先輩。
二人ともお疲れ様です。特に片桐学生は随分としごかれたようですね。
おっと、そいつは誤解だぞ。私は別に何もしちゃいない。こいつが勝手に舞い上がって観光気分であっちこっちをフラフラしやがるもんでな。
She basically did nothing at all.
なるほど。自滅ですか。
だって海なんて初めてですし、しかも9都市なんて資料でしか
ガキじゃねえんだし、いちいち言わなくても分かってんだろうと思ったが、分かっちゃいなかったな。
死ぬら。
まあこれも良い経験です。次に生かしてください。
水を。
Seeing Katarina Yaika finishing off her water bottle while working hard, I handed over my own.
たく、誰も取らんからゆっくり飲め。
そんな余裕ねえっすわ。誰かさんが一滴も分けてくれなかったおかげで。
お、逆ギレか。いい度胸だな。
ミク先輩、ごちそうさました。
どういたしまして。全部飲み干しましたか。
ちょっとは遠慮しろよな。ほら、空の水筒を持って給水地点まで行くぞ。水飲んだなら元気になったよな。駆け足。
Kicked by Rin and dragged away, Katagiri Yaika responds with a prayer-like gesture. They were really a lively and close pair.
おや、起きましたか、リネット。そうですか。調子が良いなら何よりです。
Well, she could still understand Lynette. As the other members of other teams gathering one after another, Yui and Himino Akari's team still hasn't returned. Even though Himino Akari has improved her stamina, she still can't compare to others in terms of physical ability. It's easy to imagine that Yui will be considerate and take frequent breaks as she goes along. That's why I thought there was a very good chance we wouldn't make it by the target time. But still, this is slow. As the hours tick by, 1 hour, 2, the anxiety gradually welling up. And as night began to fall, that feeling has turned to desperation.
連絡はあったか。
いえ、相変わらず何もありません。
いくら飲んでも遅すぎますよね。どこで油売ってるんだか。
過労で2人してぶっ倒れてる。
全然良くはないんじゃないですか。
まあそうだが、ガイアのロボットと快適したってのよりはマシだろ。
それははい。
If Himino Akari collapses from overwork first, Yui has to carry her while moving forward. There's a chance they could both end up collapsing. But if that's the case, we should have received some kind of contact when Himino Akari collapsed. Even if it's emergency, they should have responded to our contact, either as a request for assistance or something. Their complete lack of response to my call was proof enough that something was wrong.
少なくとも通信機器の異常は間違いなく起こっていると見ていいでしょう。
通信機が壊れただけじゃここまで遅くなる理由にはならないんじゃないですか。
こりゃやっぱ何かあったと考えるべきだろうな。
捜索に出た方がいいですね。私が行ってきます。
頼めるか。
Oops.
僕も行きます。
お前はダメだ。
なんでですか。
足腰ガタガタじゃねえか。
誰のせいですか。
とにかく二重遭難はまずい。どの道ゴールには誰か待機してる必要もあるんだ。ここはミクとリネットに任せる。
エイカさん、心配はいりません。きっと通信機にトラブルがあっただけです。私が必ず連れて帰ります。待っていてください。
わかりました。お任せします。
はい、任されました。では行きますよ、リネット。
I loaded the backpack with a bare minimum of water and food into Lynette, then grabbed Yui's area map and took off. I ran down the road Yui should be coming from, scanning for his biosigns with a thermal camera. I figured it would be easy to spot from a distance in the dark, deserted environment, but it seems less effective than I thought. Because the concrete rubble, warmed by the sunlight during the day, still retains its heat, creating a molten pattern in the image due to the temperature difference. I never thought I'd encounter the after effects of the heat island phenomena in a place like this. I slowed down and took out the thermal camera, switching to night vision for the search.
どこにいるんですか、ユイ。
Even during the simulation, I was in a different place from Yui, so I don't know exactly what happened to him and Akari. Oh. Even if you understood that much at least, you should be able to guess where I am.
目的を果たしたからこそ、これ以上のチートの使用は不可能ということですね。
At least something definitely happened to them here. What if the attack on Gaia, which we're supposed to stop, had just taken a different form and drawn the two of them in? Just thinking about it makes my chest feel like it's going to burst open.
せっかく勝ち取った日常、こんなところでなくしてなるものですか。片桐結衣、姫のあかり、どこにいるのですか。返事をしてください。
Man, her voice sounds different if she shouts. You could tell that she couldn't keep up the Kundere stuff. The Kundere voice acting. She sounds so different when she shouts. And there are enemies nearby shouting to call for backup is suicide. But the burning anxiety filling my chest felt like it was incineраting my insides along with the surrounding flesh, leaving me unable to keep silent.
Yui! Akari! どこです？どこにいるのですか？
Man, her voice is so different. I like the contrast. I called out their two names at the top of my lungs. It echoed through the ruins like a mountain echo as it raced through the abandoned buildings.
どうしました、リネット。何か聞こえた。どこからです？
Oh shit, there's gunfire. I heard that. That was a gunshot.
行きましょう、リネット。ユイ、あかり、どこですか？
The gunshots are getting closer. It seems I'm heading in the right direction.
あのビルの中ですね。
The air inside the building was colder than I imagined.
リネット、あなたの自重では床が崩れてしまうかもしれません。ここで待機を。ありがとうございます。行ってきます。
There wasn't a sound around. The gunshots I've been hearing had finally stopped. Picking a piece of rubble and throwing it, I can hear the sound echoing back. In this situation, if we're talking about Gaia's mechs, it wouldn't be surprising to pick up the motor sounds or footsteps. But if I don't hear any of those sounds, it's unlikely we encounter any Gaia soldiers. So...
まさか男性軍の脱走兵。
The National Defense Force is an organization where all men are forcibly conscripted, and desertions by those who can't adapt to the system never cease. Deserters like that are completely ostracized from society under Mother's control, leaving them with no choice but to live as criminals. They're a headache-inducing bunch who inevitably cause various security problems, including sexual crimes in the frontier regions. This place is far from the Milo region, but there's a precedent of SK soldiers hiding here after drifting ashore in boats. What would a man in hiding, struggling financially, think if he encountered a female student who looked vulnerable? Oh, that's Hime no Akari. I recognize the voice. I heard a sound like a woman's moan through my heightened sense of hearing. No way. No way. As the trembling woman's voice grew louder, the worst-case scenario inevitably took the shape in my mind. Akari and Yui were being defiled by those filthy men. As the image solidifies in reality, my anger explodes exponentially. I'll kill you. I swear I will. Even Yui's being defiled. Well, he looks like a girl, so we don't care. Oh, I didn't read that. The voice is close. Wait, I didn't read that. Anyway, she loaded her 89 type rifle. I scanned my surroundings and spotted a room where the light flickered as if someone was burning a fire. That's it. I burst into the room, gun drawn, and what I saw was... Yui stumbled backward and fell to the ground. What's happening? Why is she in her underwear? It was Akari sitting in front of the fire, trembling, wearing only her underwear. Okay, what happened? After hearing what happened for Yui and Akari, I breathed a sigh of relief. Apparently, about a half a day ago, the two of them were continuing their march at a reasonably steady pace, albeit slightly behind schedule, and decided to take a major break here in the abandoned building for lunch. Yui was supposed to start a fire, and Akari would cook, but Akari carelessly spilled all the food on the floor, and now they're out of provisions. Driven by a sense of responsibility, Akari headed to the sea to gather food. But even with the tools from her survival kit, she couldn't reach the water from atop the rubble. She tried to get close to the water's surface, descending a relatively gentle slope, and managed to reach near the sea level, but carelessly fell into the ocean. The column's device she was carrying at that time got waterlogged, and repeatedly diving to search for it resulted in hypothermia. Okay. Yeah. Worried about Akari, who couldn't come home for a while, Yui went to check on her and found Akari's lips blue with cold, trembling as she cried, so she made sure she was safe. Them having lost their comms and couldn't contact anyone, so they were just trying to dry out her clothes by the fire while he waited. So what's about the gunfire though?
すみません。あかり一人に任せた私の責任でもあります。
責任論で言えば確かにペアでの連帯責任ですが、すみません。そういえば何度か銃声を聞いています。あれは何だったのですか？
銃声ですか？私たちは何も。
ここを特定できたのもその銃声を追ってきたからです。この近辺で鳴ったものに間違いはないはずですが、
私たちは聞いていないので何かの間違い。あ、
何か心当たりが？
あ、こんな音ですかね。
With that, Yui stood up and picked up Akari's still wet clothes. Then, he spreads them out in both hands and swings them down with force.
それです。
これですか。
Oh, he was trying to dry her clothes. Okay. Without saying a word, Yui prostrated himself deeply on the ground.
これで謎はすべて解けました。リンに連絡します。
こちら東堂。
こちら守谷。 対象2名を保護。2人ともまるで往復ビンタを受けたように顔がパンパンに腫れ上がっていますが無事です。
私の分も残しとけよ。それじゃ始末書はこっちで作成しておく。本体はもう先に帰ったし、今さら慌てても無意味だからな。
了解しました。
ミク先輩。
それでは2人とも気をつけ。両手は後ろで組み、足は肩幅に開く。目をつむり歯を食いしばりなさい。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
The two stood side by side upright. Whether it was from the cold or fear, Akari's legs were trembling pitifully. Sighing, both of them flinched. A step between them as I approached the two of them. Yui had steeled himself, while Akari desperately fought to overcome her fear. They were so different, but maybe that's why Mother made them a couple. Thinking that way, I raised both hands. I just held them both like that.
無事でよかった。本当に。
ミク先輩？
先輩？あなたたちは兵士とはいえまだ新米の訓練生です。失敗することの方が多いでしょう。ですがいずれ一人前にならなければなりません。今回のことはその礎にしてください。
はい、肝に銘じます。
Relieved of her extreme tension, Akari suddenly burst into tears. Feeling a strange sense of relief myself, I felt like I could burst into tears. Yeah, that's right. I went back to where I left Lynette waiting and took out my backpack. I took out the change of clothes and the blanket from inside and handed them to Akari. I gave Yui some extra solid fuel and instant noodles, and then made them both eat it. After eating, their body warmed up, and at the same time, it seems like there was a huge spike in their blood sugar. After letting Akari take a short nap to recover from her yawns, I was checking the route back with Yui.
すみませんでした、ミク先輩。
After finishing our deliberations and deciding on a return route, Yui suddenly said that and bowed his head.
もういいのです。あなたたちが無事なら私はそれ以上何も求めません。
リン先輩にも八重花にも心配をかけました。
私はともかくあの二人には何を言われるか分かりませんね。
きっとこっぴどく怒られるんでしょうね。でも仕方がないです。
姫の学生にも困ったものです。もっと厳しくするべきなのでしょうか。
あかりも頑張ってますから、その努力は認めてあげたいです。
確かに努力はしています。が努力を誇るようになっては本末転倒です。いつかは結果だけを問われる立場になります。その時彼女が一人で立てるようにしてあげるのも優しさではないでしょうか。
Where only results matter.
そうなった時はミク先輩も 結果だけを求めるんですか？実を結ばない努力は無駄だと断じられてしまうんでしょうか？
そうですね。いつかはそう言わなければならない日が来ると思います。
そうですか。
Seeing that, Yui looked terribly disappointed and hung his head. Did I say something I shouldn't have?
すみません。何か至らないことがあったでしょうか？
いえ、僕が勝手に変な期待をしてしまっただけですから。きっとみんなそうなんです。なので気にしなくていいです。
That expression was his usual troubled smile, but something was definitely off. I can't quite grasp what causes that difference. It's frustrating, but my gut tells me that I can't just leave it as is.
変であろうと何であろうと、私はあなたの期待に応えたいと思っています。何か良くない考えなのであれば是正します。指摘をしてください。
Hearing that, Yui looked even more troubled.
いえ、本当にいいんです。
その顔は良いと思っている表情には思えません。だからこそ私は是正したいと。
そういうのいいですから。
I stopped speaking, cut off by Yui's soft but sharp voice. His expression is now stiff, a complete contrast to how he was just moments ago. Sadness, resignation, frustration. A mixture of those emotions twisted into something like hostility, squeezing my heart tightly. Seeing me like this, Yui suddenly looked as if he was about to cry. But that moment passed in an instant, and Yui averted his gaze, still wearing a stern expression.
ミク先輩は変わらなくていいです。僕好みの返答なんて知らなくていいです。
In a voice devoid of emotion and intonation. But Yui definitely said so and rejected me. Wait, I don't get what was going on. Like, she did say something about where results matter. And then where results matter. And then Yui didn't like that. I don't remember how I got back to Akasha after that. Of course, if you look at the action logs, you can see which route we took and what time we arrived at the meeting point. That's not what I meant. I'm saying that the emotions governing Moriya Miku as a person had absolutely no involvement in those actions. Looks like I made a mistake. I said something to Yui that left a really bad impression on him, and he rejected me. It felt like a rejection by the entire world. My emotions were instantly frozen by that. Now I'm blocking out all external information. I don't want to witness a world where I'm hated by him. I don't want any more information that would make me realize this was reality.
だから言ったのです。恋などとうつつを抜かしているから姉様は堕落してしまったのです。
It's always those emotos.
はい。あれほど調べて結論付けたではありませんか。恋は辛いものだと。はい。もうやめましょう姉様。マザーの目的であるクーデター阻止は叶ったのです。これ以上のことはきっとマザーも望んでいません。かもしれません。あとはもう目標の警護と監視に集中しましょう。姉様がこれ以上の行動継続は困難だと判断するなら代理を立てることもできます。同タイプの他の妹に命令を継承すれば見た目も同じですので誰にも分かりません。姉様決断してください。もういいでしょう。終わりましょう。
Anyone can replace you. That's just how we're built. Shirei is right, but why does her words feel so empty? Why am I feeling so sad?
私のことなど誰も見てない。だとしたら 私は一体何のために戦って。
I was suddenly and forcibly pulled back to reality. It seems they detected a strong pain signal and concluded there might be an enemy attack. But what on earth could it be?
ミク先輩、大丈夫ですか？リーン先輩、いくらなんでもやりすぎですって。
さて、そいつはどうかな。
リン、ヨエカさん、ここは一体。
Apparently, I've been knocked down to the ground by some kind of shock. I sat up and looked around. The location is the cafeteria, and the time is 3:48 p.m. It's still a little before afternoon training ends, so there aren't any other people in the cafeteria.
よう、起きたか？モリア・ミク。
The way Rin is standing there like a Neo guardian statue glaring at me is exactly what you expect from a Neo. A what? Guard? What is this? Let me check if that's an actual thing. Oh, it's like those if you go to a temple, there's those giant muscular dudes. That's a statue of muscular dudes with, like, you know, fucking creepy looking guys in a Buddhist temple. It's those. Anyway, judging by the situation, Rin probably did something to me. Since the source of pain is my left cheek, I was likely punched. Even though I was operating at minimum efficiency, to land a hit on me when my action control was fully operational, you can say what you want.
起きたとは。
According to the action log, Rin suddenly said she wanted to stop during training and ended up dragging me here and That seems to be the situation. It seems Katagiri Yaika said something was up and followed along.
お前がすっかりロボットに戻っちまいやがったのが原因だろうが。
Yeah, she went full automatic while she was stalking the charade.
何があったか知らねえが、今日のはさすがに見過ごせないレベルだった。だから一発入れて目を覚ましてやったんだ。
ロボットに戻った。
Not understanding what it meant, I checked the logs again. As I followed the conversation, it looks like Himino Akane is going back to her parents' house for about a month due to family matters. What the fuck? I have a bad feeling. I have a really bad feeling. Apparently, my over-bureaucratic response during the conversation upset Rin. I should have allocated more memory into interpersonal reactions.
申し訳ありません。私の対応が拙かったようで。
I stood up and bowed my head.
よーし、もう一発言っとくか。
ダメですよ。
But it seemed Rin's mood hadn't improved at all. With a look of utter frustration, Katagiri Yaika clings to Rin's arm, desperately trying to stop her from raising her fist.
片桐学生、私が悪いのですから止める必要はありません。
そういうわけにはいきませんって。
片桐妹、止めるな。壊れたロボットは殴れば治るもんだと相場は決まっている。
何でも暴力で革命しようとしないでください。
Jesus Christ.
現に少し治っただろうが。
そう見えて、実は深刻にぶっ壊れる直前みたいなのよくある話ですよ。
そんなに私の対応は拙かったのですか？
おい、やっぱりこいつ殴った方が良くないか。
ミーク先輩、そんなに煽らないで。
つもりはないのですが、本当にわからないのです。問題があるなら是正。
Saying that much is enough to stop me in my tracks. I might get rejected again. That fear is stopping me from saying anything anymore. Even Yui is this miserable. So if Rin and Yaika reject me too, my sanity might just shatter. That would mean my complete and utter death.
おい、お前。
ミク先輩。
Oh, did she start crying? The surprised faces looked distorted. I thought the impact had messed up the camera, but it wasn't that. Tears were just streaming down my face.
これは
ほら泣いちゃったじゃないですか。大丈夫なわけないんですよ。
あ、いや、すまん、ミク。
They thought they were responsible, but he was thinking about like the whole idea of being rejected by her friends. I'm pretty sure Rin. I feel bad for Rin.
いえ、これは違う。
I tried to deny it in a fluster, but I don't even know what to deny anymore. And just like tears and rain's birching, like tears in the rain, just like tears in the rain, an indescribable emotion welled up from the depths of my heart. My knees gave out and I collapsed to the ground right there. Seeing that, Yaika, who had been holding Rin back, rushed over and hugged me.
ミク先輩、いいんです。泣いていいんですよ。辛いことがあったら泣いた方がいいんです。
ミク、すまん。すまん。
Rin also started crying. Really, Rin? Why did you start crying? Rin, of all people, started crying.
こっちも？
そんなに泣くほど辛いことがあったお前に、私は。
Rin, oh my god.
ミク、すまなかった。
They obviously didn't have like a scene for Rin to cry. That's why she doesn't have any visible tears in their sprite. I wish they even made like one single sprite that will only show up in this one exact scene. It will never show up anywhere else.
なんなのこの先輩たちは。
I really like Rin also cried. It was like, what? Rin? After a while, I and Rin both regained our composure.
ああ、すまん、片桐妹。世話をかけた。
本当ですよ。手あげた方が一番泣いてたじゃないですか。
私だって別にやりたくてやったわけじゃない。ただふぬけてるミクを見てると悔しくてな。
悔しい。なんでですか？
それは。
Rin hesitated for a moment before deciding whether to tell answer Kategori Yaiko's question. But that was just a momentarily thing, and Rin nodded once before opening her mouth.
私は難民の出身だからな。戦争とか災害とかひどい目に遭って逃げてきた連中をたくさん見てきた。足がないやつ、腕がないやつ、頭のおかしいやつ。その中にいるんだ。ロボットみたいなやつが。
I mean, technically, she was talking to Sheree during that time. She was having a counseling system. She was counseling with Sheree.
何を言っても何をされても無反応。そんなやつだ。そんなのの大概は救いようがないような経験をして心が壊れちまったやつだったよ。私はアカシアに入学してミクとペアになった時、こいつはそれだと思った。
私が
I mean, she was a robot. I mean, she's a automata. But like,
ああ、だからなんだか放っておけなくて。で、いろいろ世話焼いてみたけど全然変わらなくてな。私じゃもう手に負えないのかと思ってたんだ。
I really appreciate Ren. Shame she doesn't have a route. At least she got fleshed out in Miku's route. Ever since I entered Agasha Academy, Rin has been making a point of paying attention to me all the time. She got pulled into it when she joined the Sadobu and started participating in the freedom of expression activities, even engaging in tasks outside her official duties. At first, I thought you were monitoring my actions because you suspected me of being a spy, but to think the reason was something like that.
だってのによ。片桐姉が入学してきた途端、あっという間に変えちまいやがった。悔しかったな。私の一年何の意味もなかったのかよって。
Oh, you just didn't realize you were dealing with a literal automata.
リン。
I suddenly remember when Rin mentioned something about my relationship with you. Okay, so I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I was wondering, why did she suddenly ask something about Yui? I was like, huh? Why? Why are you concerned? The awkwardness wasn't due to consideration for my fetishes, but stemmed from Rin's own feelings.
でも別に良かったんだよ。お前が元気ならそれでいいって私は納得してた。なのにこのところずっとすっかり元に戻っちまいやがって。何があったのか周囲に聞いてみても判然としない。だから何とかしなくちゃって思ったんだが。
それでぶん殴ってどうするんですか？普通に考えたら追い詰めるだけでしょ。
いやだって漫画だと結構ひっぱたいたら正気に戻るだろ。
I really love Rin, man. Jesus.
漫画と現実を一緒にすんな。先輩がいつも懲戒委員に言ってることでしょうが。
確かに。
あとミク先輩もミク先輩ですよ。
私ですか？
何があったか知りませんが急におかしくなりすぎです。
そんなに変でしたか？
違くないんですか？みんな変だと思ってましたよ。
それはあなたやリンだけじゃなくてですか？
Oh yeah, this is the last scene for today. I had to sleep soon. A little bit earlier than usual. Unfortunately, just a little.
少なくとも小隊内は全員ですよ。としたら全校生徒そう思ってます。
If Sheree is right, then as long as their appearances are identical, no one should notice anything. Even if someone as presented as Sayaka and Rin notice, could everyone really have known? If that's the case, it's not a problem insufficient memory for auto responses or anything like that.
いえ、そんなわけ。
That's actually a lot. That's actually a lot. She changed, and the two most perceptive people, you know.
当たり前でしょ。どれだけ一緒に過ごしてると思ってるんですか？
She really grown as a person. If you know what I mean. Like, she literally became more human-like.
いつもと違うくらいのことはすぐにわかりますよ。
そうなのですか。
当たり前だ。些細な変化を感じ取れないようで何が仲間なんだ。
お姉ちゃんとミク先輩の間に何かあったなくらいのことわからなくてどうするんだって話ですよ。
え？
Wait, what? Sorry, I have to. What the fuck?
当たり前だ。些細な変化を感じ取れないようで何が仲間なんだ。
お姉ちゃんとミク先輩の間に何かあったなくらいのことわからなくてどうするんだって話ですよ。
え？
I was like, huh? Even I went like, what?
お前原因分かってたのか？
そりゃわかりますよ。姉とその彼女が揃っておかしいんですから。普通に考えてああこれ喧嘩したなくらい思うじゃないですか。
片桐姉、何かおかしいところあったか？
それは凛先輩の中のお姉ちゃんの解像度が低いだけです。
おい、私はそれなりに隊員の観察を。
ちょっとした観察程度でうちの姉を知った気にならないでください。こちとら歴が違うんでね。
グーの根も出ねえな。
Of course, she's right.
それでミク先輩、お姉ちゃんと何があったんですか？
それは
今さら隠しきれると思わない方がいいですよ。僕は一定の確信を持って聞いてます。
It's true that I can't hide it completely in this situation. I resigned myself and told them about what happened the other day.
なるほど。
それは片桐姉の方がガキなのが悪いだろ。
まあそうっすね。いやでもまあそうっすね。凛先輩の一言が的確すぎて何も言えないっす。
だよな、努力を評価しろってガキだろ。
子供っぽい感触ですよね。我が姉ながら情けない。でも多分ですけどお姉ちゃんがミク先輩を拒絶したのは別の意味だと思います。
別の意味？
多分お姉ちゃん自分でも子供っぽいこと言っちゃったのは分かってるんじゃないかと。
じゃあ素直に謝れよ。
おっしゃる通り。
なんかイライラしてきたな。ぶん殴ってこようか。
Jesus, Red, why is that always your answer? Boryuku. Why? Every time.
やめとけ。
どんな理由であれ優位を害する存在は敵です。たとえ凛でもそれは許しません。
ほら始まった。
それを言うなら私の友人を傷つけたやつは私の敵だろ。それはどう考える？
なるほど。では勝った方が目的を果たす権利を得るということですね。
What the hell is this stupid shit that we're having right now?
上等だ。ただでは負けてやらんぞ。
待てちょっと話聞いてハウス。
てめえ、上級生を犬扱いしやがったな。
じゃあ犬みたいに見境なくキャンキャンわめかないでくださいよ。
なんだこいつ、正論使いか。
今に始まったことではありませんよ。
とにかく続きがあるんで聞いてください。お姉ちゃんがミク先輩の言葉を遮ってまで拒絶したのは別の意味があるって話でしたよね。
ええ。
それって子供っぽいことを言った自覚があるからこそ自分におもねるようなことは言ってほしくないって意味じゃないのかなと。
おもねるですか？
I was definitely trying to say what Yui wanted to hear. What he wanted to deny was being just someone who needed affirmation. Thinking about it that way, I understood his attitude back then.
お姉ちゃんはミク先輩にはずっと今のままのミク先輩でいてほしいんですよ。
なるほどな。自分が間違っていてもつい意地になってしまうことは確かにある。なのに間違っているはずの自分に寄り添われたりしたら情けなくてたまらんだろうな。
So that's how it was. I overreacted because I thought my own existence was being denied. But if that's the case, reconciliation should be possible. I let out a deep sigh of relief. It felt like the weight on my chest was lifting too.
とはいえ声を荒げる必要もなきゃ。そもそも素直に間違いを認めろよという意味でリン先輩の最初の一言通りです。
I could feel Yaika's quiet anger. It wasn't a burning rage, but rather anger tinged with great exasperation. It was a complicated feeling, but for some reason, I have a little something stuck in my chest too. I'll get my revenge on her another time. She owes me that much, Yui included.
いつまでたってもガキなんだから。
But while Yaika is usually carefree about other things, she's openly emotional when it comes to her Nissan. So, when it comes to what's most important to me, my emotions get really stirred up, huh? The most important thing. Could it be that you're talking about the fundamental premise?
片桐学生、あなたにとって姉はあなたの行動の大前提になっているのでしょうか。
どういうことです？
私は生まれた意味について考えています。
なんだいきなり。
That is right. Rin will be like, what are we talking about now?
私自身、自分が生まれた意味が分かりません。どうしたらそれが分かるのかといろいろと調べていたところです。
Out of the blue asking that kind of question. Oh my god.
ある時、自分の行動の大前提ともいえる価値観こそが生まれた意味になるのではないかという一つの知見を得ました。片桐学生は姉のこととなると明らかに感情をあらわにするところから、あなたの行動理念の中心には姉の存在があるのではないかと。
ああ、なるほど。
そうですかね。
Don't make her flustered and blush right now.
いやー、全くそんなつもりはないというか、意識したことすらないんですが。
Just loves her Nissan, man. She just really loves her Nissan. In a fortunately a wholesome way. I mean, considering their dynamic, I'm totally cool with them just staying wholesome, man. But for blood-related shit, there should have been signs. But for this one, I don't see the signs, so I'm like, yeah, let's not force that shit.
まあそうだろうな。家族がいる間はそんなこと意識するわけがない。いつだって気づくのは当たり前が当たり前じゃなくなった時だ。
なるほど。
Rin's statement can probably be taken as a roundabout affirmation.
けどな、生まれた理由を決めるのは結局は自分自身だと私は思う。仮にそんな使命みたいなものが実在するとして、それに沿って生きている人間なんておそらくは存在しない。
そうなのですか。何かのために生まれたはずの自分がそれとは別のことをしているというのは罪なのでは。
じゃあお前は人を殺すために生まれたやつが人を殺さないでいることは罪だと思うか？
それが役割なのなら罪なのではないでしょうか。
そうか。じゃあ例えばお前がそうだったとしたら、 片桐姉も殺せるんだな。
それは
The killing Yui is the reason I was born. Would I resist with all my might? Or would I kill Yui in accordance with that meaning? The answer is simple. To say Yui, I'll kill anyone who targets him.
それはできません。
だろ？生まれた理由なんてものはその時々で変わっていいし、もちろん変えなくてもいい。
I wasn't expect this kind of talk in my damn visual novel. Well, I've been through a lot of visual novels with this, but suddenly starting to talk this sort of thing in this visual novel. Like, there's a lot of things going on in this VN. To be honest, there's a lot.
それに納得して自分が行動できるかどうか、それだけでいいんじゃないか。
自分で好きに決めていい。そのようにファジーで良いのでしょうか。トースターがパンを焼くことを拒否したら、それは役立たずではありませんか。そんなトースターを誰かが必要としてくれるのでしょうか。
それはそういう風に作られて他には何もできないものの話だろ。お前はパンしか焼けないのか。
I couldn't make a sound. Those words of Rin were so shocking to me.
私には他にもできることがある。
Infiltration disguised combat. The contents of the order to work for Mother are varied and extensive. That's why we were able to do everything just like humans. Anything a human can do, I can do too. That means I had the same potential as a human being too.
私は私の可能性を私のために使って良いのですね。
そりゃそうですよ。ミク先輩の人生じゃないですか。
ああ、当たり前だ。お前の可能性なんだから。
そうですね。当たり前でした。
Now that you mention it, you're absolutely right. I never would have thought of that. It was like a revelation for me. It wasn't exaggeration or anything like that. Just realizing what they meant by normal opened up my future in a big way. I can live for myself. I can live for others too. I can bend my way of living, or I can die for it. Just choose what you think is the best at that moment. Out of all possibilities, that's enough. The reason I was born, it's enough to be just that much.
やっと元に戻ったな。
そう見えますか。
そうですね。いつも通りです。
Midori.
それならよかったのでしょうか。
Sorry, I paused for a second because when I said it's Midori, I remembered Sakuno. And then I remembered the guy who wrote Mashiro Ero Symphony is the guy who wrote this VN, so yeah. Anyway, that was random. Personally, I was glad. But thinking about Mother and Shirei makes it complicated. It feels like there's something slightly shameful about walking down a different path than someone you thought was close to you. But if I come to a certain conclusion, I guess I could sort it out in my head along with everything else.
で、一つ問題があるんですけど。
はい、何でしょう。
お姉ちゃんとどうやって仲直りするんですか？
交渉の話をしてたはずなんだが、いきなりレベルが下がった気がするな。
いいえ、これはこれで重要な話です。なぜなら問題の発端がこれだからです。
確かにそうだったな。
それでミク先輩は今回の件について具体的な落としどころの目星はついてますか？
そうですね。
I admit my handling of this situation wasn't perfect, but Yui was also at fault. Considering his personality, if he's aware of it, he should be blaming himself even more. It's pretty mean of me not to apologize first. Well, he's the one who's apologizing. Even if I were to apologize unilaterally, he probably wouldn't accept it gracefully. Yeah, figuring out how to resolve this issue is tough.
私らが片桐姉をここまで引っ張ってくればいいんじゃねえか？
筋はいいんですが違いますね。それだとミク先輩は恋人の愚痴を他人にペラペラ喋る女でもって困ったら仲間を連れて責め立ててくるたちの悪い女にもなります。
いや、そんなの言われるようなことする方が悪いだろ。
それはそうですけど、正論だけで殴っても問題って解決しないですよ。
お前が言うな。
相手を黙らせたい時はいいんです。たった今回は黙らせたいわけじゃないので、姉が受け取るイメージも想定しておく必要があります。
Ren and I both groan at the same time without thinking. I see. You're right, Yaika-san. That's very enlightening.
なるほど。相手のイメージまで操作する。
さすがに操作とまでは言えませんが、悪印象を与える可能性はできるだけ排除するという感じです。
末恐ろしいな、お前。
This talent is truly rare. If they continue to develop smoothly, they'll likely become an outstanding commander in the future. But I'm probably going to be a handful too. But she's probably going to be a handful too.
で、あなたのことです。すでにそのあたりを打開する策があるのではありませんか？
As I asked that, Yaika grinned.
もちさん、僕に一つ妙案があるのですが。
I had to call it in here. That was a really long conversation, but I had to call it. Oh, wow. I have a feeling of what's coming next, but it's best I end here. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys on the next upload. Ciao. I guess for tonight, I just go with the Kazuko Kikaku ending. I don't know where my other ending songs are, but I'll just go for this because I don't want to set up stuff right now. Anyway, I'll see you guys. Ciao.